We're taking a pause on Marvel Rivals. I don't know if that was audible the whole time. I might have started a little bit too soon, but we're taking a pause on Marvel Rivals heading into the semifinals for the Valorant bracket. Joined, of course, by Emily yet again. Let the people know.
I'm excited. I mean, like we talked about a lot. Both of us having a little bit more of a forte, not only with Rivals, but also with these rosters and these programs. Manchester and Ohio Northern, both being some of the teams representing the GLEC at this bracket. Both of us being alums from schools that have competed in that GLEC. I know for me personally, having some competitive experience against, if I'm not mistaken, both of these rosters and a lot of the players on these rosters. So, I'm excited to see what these two pull out, and especially like we were talking about with the yesterday when we were talking about the end of our pools. Both these rosters very evenly matched, not only in their records but in the set they played against each other.
Yeah, and again, like you were talking about before the break, these two were kind of in that soup. I like that little word you used. In that soup of that second place contention, 3-2, two of these teams. Right, it was these two and Sussy players. All three of those teams took games off of each other. So it's now up to see if Manchester. I think Manchester lost to ONU in their last meetup, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they
So
lost
it's
their
up.
match.
Yeah, it's up to see if Manchester can, bring this one home on top of what the previous performance was. It is, of course, as you see on the bottom of your screen, best of three, with the first map up being a Manchester pick of Split.
I'm excited for this entire map pool. First of all, I just like all these maps. I think they're really interesting to watch. We talked about probably Split being like maybe our average least favorite to watch, but I'll be honest, I love watching Fracture and Breeze. I think there's a lot of interesting stuff that can be done, especially with some of the stuff that we were seeing when you look up at that super high level. And I will note something very interesting: Manchester choosing to ban out Haven round one. That was the map that they clashed on yesterday. That was their best of one, where Manchester had some of those incredible turnover conversions whenever having a timeout. So I'm very excited to see how that's going to play into this match today.
Yeah, right. You don't go back somewhere you've lost if you don't think you can win it this on the rebound. So they're just going for a different strategy on this game, right? Split, it's their first map pick. See if they have. Excuse me, my tongue is like fighting against me right now. I don't know what's going on. But Manchester, they have the opportunity now to take this over them. Their map pick, I believe it was Ohio Northern's map pick yesterday for Haven, which would make sense. So I'm curious to see if Manchester can get that advantage starting off. And we do see one agent on a monitor that we can also see, of course, on the right side of the screen as Manchester have locked in their whole composition.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this composition just in general. This is very similar
God.
to the stuff that we've been seeing them run just overall. We saw Saint on that secondary duelist, Asuna on the main entry, Warden on those smokes, Rain on the
Oh,
chamber, Bane on the sky. We'll talk about ONU in a second because I heard that O and I know exactly what that was for. I mean, it's a standard comp, nothing too crazy. I just worry a little bit, especially on a map like Split, where sometimes information is key and you see teams running more of that double initiator as opposed to the single initiator double duelist. But as metas develop, as things change, different compositions, definitely something that people look towards.
yeah, and weird to see a Sage in after we talked yesterday about how, that whole class is just fairly weak right now, the Sentinels. But a Sage coming in, it does make some sense, I think, on Split, right? She can have a lot of success on this map in particular, but playing a double Sentinel with the Chamber locked in as well, it's weird, even if you consider Chamber being that pseudo duelist that you're looking at, right?
I mean, it kind of makes sense. EMP was the let me try that one again. EMP was the one running the secondary duelist when we were looking at the, what do you call it? When we were looking at that Haven yesterday, Paper Swan being the one running that Sentinel being on the chamber. I can sometimes see the value with the Sage. Obviously, the res just generally gives you a lot of value. I do sometimes worry maybe buying too much into that, as the slow and the wall. The slow's pretty good. The wall is like, it's fine. It's nothing insane to write home about. But it is going to be interesting to see how all of this plays out.
Yeah, and particularly like the only other Sentinel I think we saw yesterday was the deadlock, right? We didn't see any Killjoy. It's been exclusively Chamber with a little bit of deadlock and Sage locking herself in here. And this is kind of the main reason why I feel, right? The wall's down mid, even if it doesn't, stop them for too long, it can divide that sight line.
It also forces a lot of investment in either utility or in just raw ammo, and especially on a pistol round, that is something that, doesn't necessarily come in a lot of, doesn't necessarily come with a ton. Ohio Northern going to be the first to strike, able to pick up 2. Bane will get the trade onto Singularity. EMP unable to hit the shots. Bane will be able to get the trade, and now Manchester with full access to that A site, but they've full given Heaven control, and Paper Swan had potential to get something really big done, but Warren will be able to find that pick. And now for the
2 classic shots only dealt like chip damage pretty much there.
Yeah, really not super hurt. And now the side of Ohio Northern has to retake in this 2v3. They will have secrets. They do have flashes, and they'll be able to find the first down to Warden, so they've got some upgraded weaponry. First flash going out. It will find Asuna, and Bane actually with a big 2 at the end. Another pistol round for Manchester, and we talked about how prominent they were on those pistols before. Not surprised to see it coming through again.
You just keep playing them out, right? Keep playing those pistol rounds, the way that they had been practicing. I think it was them who talked about it yesterday, how they practiced against their JV team for like hours upon hours to get their pistols just right. And we're starting to see it pay off. I mean, it was close. It was so close that Ohio Northern brought it down to the wire at the end there, right? But of course, when you just bait one player like that, it's fairly easy to make things work out.
I mean, even though it was so close, it was still Manchester able to drag it across the line, able to find that first round. And I mean, you want those pistols to be as clean as possible, as Manchester here on the mid clash should just be able to, clean everything up. Last one up, EMP has some of the deagle shots and is going to let them pass. So could be going for a late lurk here, but I think Rain is at least aware of this possibility and should have vision on it at least semi-soon after that bomb plant goes down.
Yeah, look at this positioning. They're looking towards the backside, the defender's side. One player takes a peek, EMP spotted, goes for 1 shot, goes for 2, but Rain with a headshot with the Guardian, able to finish that off. The second round of collected bonus there for Manchester.
Yep, and I mean, solid closeout, exactly what you want to see. You don't need to really force anything to get weird. It is just, keep that as clean, as smooth as possible, carry over as many guns as possible, force yourself to invest as little into this next round, and really see how much damage you can do. For the side of Ohio Northern, though, Paper Swan gonna be lacking overall, has to go for the light shields. The awkward amount of money left makes me think he'll have util, but not gonna have everything that you would want on this first full buy.
Yeah, but if the back away there doesn't want to stay too committed. And look at this, though. Manchester are actually the ones who are pretty committed down towards the A side of things. There's 2 down mid. Secret's able to find that kill onto Asuna. Not going to be giving away too much, but look at this. Again, down mid, there's going to be a gunfight here as Saint. Slowly but surely looking to climb these ropes.
Could find a position on Singularity, though. Oh. Yeah, and Singularity finds this quick, too.
That should signal pretty much the end of the round, almost guaranteed, as the dog walks through, sees one, not the other.
Yeah, get that spot onto Rain, so they know about his position. Bane has been in this corner for a very long time, but Paper Swan has the cross, so he should be the first point of contact, and will get the trade. Bane gets the pop onto Secret, so potentially able to cause some damage here, but Paper Swan with the closeout. And that is the side of ONU putting their first one on the board.
And that's one that you should expect, right? It's the bonus round going over to ONU. They're going to be a bit comfortable coming into this next round, right? They should have enough for this full buy. They will have 1 Guardian in hand for EMP. Can't really give that one away when, you're entering the round with the Guardian. You don't have enough money to go for something else. There's only 2 ultimates on the field right now as well. The Seekers on both sides, actually, somehow. Secrets and Bane. Bane top fragging right now on the sky.
Yeah, he was able to put up a lot of impact in that first round with the 4K, so already well on his way to those Seekers. A little bit needed in the rest of those rounds in order to really get things done little bit of shots exchanged on the A main position, but so far, no damage collected one way or the other. But EMP on this close positioning compared to Bane and Asuna. Asuna, he'll be able to get up. He has the recall if necessary, but EMP with the first. Onto Bane. Asuna with a good bit of damage, and Flames gets taken out by Saint in this mid position. That could be a collapse over towards the B bomb site called. You got, well, about to be 3 in mid. And now you've got more of that control. Paper Swan, all that's left on that B bomb site, could be under a lot of pressure very soon.
They snuffed it out, though. They know what's happening, and look at that. Rain gets the catch on Secrets, trying to go for the rotate. And that is devious, that little lurk, because EMP's going to be the second player. They're not expecting to come from this angle. Make it 3 now.
Yeah, there's 2 up in that heaven position. Paper Swan, he'll be able to find the first.
Here.
So far, nothing fully collected. Singularity maybe trying to fake something out. The spam from Asuna, though, good to give the information. Rain finds the first and the second while falling. This makes this round incredibly doable. Singularity Asuna 1v1. Singularity with that smoke, or with the blind, he will catch Asuna, and Asuna isn't able to read the movement. Singularity closes it out. ONU equalizing that scoreline.
Yeah, just the very tip of that barrel peeking out from behind the wall. Manchester going to be kind of kicking themselves for losing the first true rifle round of the game. Right, Ohio Northern are going to have this full buy coming in, and look at this. EMP's even going to go for the op in this one, just to help stamp things down. A Sheriff's fully across the board here on the side of Manchester. Even Warden, who's going to be dropping to that 1350 threshold, right? Not quite enough to get a full buy guaranteed next round if things go poorly enough. But we'll have quite a few ultimates coming online for both of these teams in particular, though. Manchester, 6 out of 7 for Warden, 7 out of 8 for Rain. We're looking to get pretty close to these ults, and don't say it.
Yeah, I think Rain is just this positioning from Rain. I'm very scared about what could happen, because EMP is definitely on this angle, wanting to hold down this orb, because that's really what you look for in these eco rounds. Rain might be given it, and I mean, if he gets this orb or a pick, he might be able to push, honestly, with the op up. He might even be able to move forward. But yeah, EMP, just with the simple closeout onto Rain, loses all their B presence now. 2-2 split between A main and mid. Things not looking too great for Manchester, at least specifically in this round, but a really good spam from Bane.
Blinding.
Big chunk of damage, 59 HP left on the Sky. That's no healing later in the round if you're able to capitalize on things. Saint makes his way up as Asuna dips out of dodge. Can't hit the shots, misses the 6. Oh, that's a heartbreaker, that one for Saint as Flames gets the kill. This is still a tight round. Manchester only behind by 1 kill, but without rifles, it'll be tough to capitalize on this situation.
Yeah, and especially with the HP. Bane a 2-tap, Warden a 1-tap from all of these rifles. So you're looking to see what really can you do in this position.
Singularity knows where Bane is right now. That catches him out. 1 HP for Bane. So low. If he gets a swing up, can't quite. They're just going to try to save this one last rifle that they might be able to get. No, it's just the Sheriff. Get an ult orb, get out.
Yeah, not quite enough time to really try something. There's a world maybe where Warden tries for something a little silly. It will be able to rip the op away. And the second. That's insane damage for Manchester to find at the end of that round.
Cut at the knees is the Ohio Northern defense now. They have to buy a second operator. They're not going to have enough for this whole row of rifles for the next round if they lose this one, right? You're going to see Secrets going for the Judge as the economy is starting to look a little bit battered here. But a full buy off of that one for Manchester, thanks to the op grab. They wouldn't have had enough for this full row of rifles if it wasn't for that hero play from Warden.
Yeah, massive 2 to find at the end, and EMP without shield, Paper Swan forced onto lights. Like, it's a very weird position to be at as a whole. Side of Manchester, they make a lot of noise, full rotates like everyone over on that A site. Will be Flames, first one to potentially look for call of a bluff. As he starts to move over towards that B, he'll find nothing now, but if he chooses to stick, he might find several of these Manchester players making their way over.
Still nobody willing to make too big of a commitment as the dog walks through, gets shot. Nobody quite sure where that angle is. But look at this. Yeah, they're starting to commit to mid. They see only 2 players have remained at this angle. They're going to start to move out. Look at this. Yeah, they're right about to walk into this race of flames.
Yeah, the issue is just there isn't a lot of movement from the side of Ohio Northern, and honestly, that might be the crux of this play for Manchester. Opting to go aggressive into that A site. Warden will get found out. Saint able to find the first onto Singularity, but EMP with the trade onto Asuna. Ooh, but now Saint, he's going to be able to grab something, but Secret's able to find some impact with that Judge. Paper Swan last on the site gets shut down. Secret's in that A main position. I mean, Manchester will be able to get this bomb down, but it's certainly doable for Ohio Northern. With the op, he's not going to be able to find anything. Manchester now equalizing that scoreline after a really impressive set of rounds from them.
The silent carry in that one in particular to me was the double tap. The duelist there with the ability to tank one shot happened twice. Took 2 op shots that round and still didn't take a single unit of damage pretty much from either of those bullets. Able to keep on kicking, find 2 kills that any other character in this game would have died to. And now Ohio Northern, they've had their economy completely in shambles. They have nothing but a light buy, and even then they're forcing a little bit. EMP here at 950 credits.
Yeah, he's going to go for this off peak, but Rain, I mean, with the early positioning, able to get the spot, and that's just going to be the B site completely open. Ohio Northern looking to flip the map with those 3 players now rotating through that market position. Will be onto the B main. There won't, well, there is going to be a trip here, so they are going to spot that. Using the smoke to obscure it allows them to move forward, but that smoke is heard. Saint and Rain already on this line. Get the spot. Saint with the 2. Good control of the spray. Rain able to clean it up, and Paper Swan last alive. Best you can hope for is maybe some economic damage, pull a Warden-esque move and find 2 at the end, strip some rifles away, but Manchester looking confident in these rounds.
If I were Paper Swan here, I would pretty much be sacrificing myself now, running away after that 1 kill and trying to hide in a corner and catch them as they leave. But Bane, you know, you're going to be happy that you did find something, even though Bane cuts your kill streak short. It gets you that tiny bit extra money. It gets you to force a buy onto the other team. Things are looking adequate now for Ohio Northern, and they will be coming into this round with a set what resembles a full buy.
I mean, it's got the bits and pieces of a full buy, certainly, but you've got the Guardian on the board, you've got the light armor on a handful of players. I wouldn't be completely surprised if they're going to be lacking some util here and there. Certainly won't on the pre-placed, at least, with that chamber trip up on the B bomb site, but Manchester going for this B play again. I'm not opposed to this. I like what they've been able to do with this B, especially the fact that ONU has been leaving it so high and dry, at least with these rounds so far. Secrets will be able to get a lot of information off that dog, though, which it may allow more movement by Ohio Northern. Yeah,
I mean, you'd said a lot of information. Only saw 1, and the rotate is now coming in a little bit late. It's a 3v3 on site as Manchester. They keep the site control. And look at this, Asuna swinging forward in the overflick, the overcorrection from Paper Swan. Prevents the kill from happening. Both players on Heaven, and they know exactly where these players remain thanks to these secrets driving through.
Yeah, I would argue a little bit on the Seeker's call, but I think at this point you need to use it. Otherwise, you're going to be going into the back half of the map with, like, well, you're already at the back half, but deeper into the back half with Seekers still in pocket, you're losing time to really be able to pick that out. Singularity left in the 1v2, though. Both these players isolated, and Asuna not really looking at the position, so Warden will be able to find it, or Singularity able to find it. Rain with the closeout, and that's another nice round for Manchester. And I think what's going to be the saving grace is the fact that they've been on that offensive side. They've been able to not only keep things scrappy, force out a lot of stuff from Ohio Northern, including that first timeout that we're about to see, but still, Manchester, they've got good economy. They've been able to hold their own.
Exceptional economy here, Emily. The way that they have been playing, Ohio Northern have some time to recuperate and regain their strategy. They they did deal that numbers that economy is not going to look great for long, but Ohio Northern needs to start putting some points on the board. They need to start getting some of these rounds unlocked, right? They're only at, what, I think 3 and 5 now, so it's not the end of the world, but they need to start winning these ASAP. advantage in the half is starting to drift away from them. Manchester, 1 round away from having half of the first half, a quarter of the points available in the whole like pre-overtime game.
Yeah, and I mean, granted, I don't fully, like, obviously I don't have the best read on this possible, but I mean, with the composition that ONU have entered into this, it's definitely looking more defensive sided. Obviously the Sage can have some impact on that offense, but the slows and the wall really good for stalling out those full hits and bleeding time off, and you're in the hole, arguably giving up Manchester more rounds than you want to in your opening half, and then you have to transition to what I would argue the harder half of the two for this composition to play.
I would agree. I would certainly agree. They're just going to break down that wall, the slow orb, to stifle too much engagement. As look at this, the Lurk is already coming in from Ohio Northern. They're going to walk down mid, but little do they know. Manchester here to greet.
Yeah, they're so far down, but two here, like you said, Warden able to find that pickup. Secret's close by. Doesn't get hit by the flash. Will be able to... Well, Secrets won't get hit by the flash. Rain will be able to trade it out. Now, Manchester with a lot more execute authority on this positioning. Singularity in the corner. Won't be able to find it. Saint with the response. EMP now getting a little... Well, curious as to what to find, but Rain will cut him down. Paper Swan, last one up. Similar situation to the last time he was last one up, and really nothing big for him to do. Good shot onto Saint. We'll shut down one of those rifles. Does get blinded, spotted out by Rain. Bomb should be going down now.
Honestly, if I'm Paper Swan here, I kind of would just rotate around to try to grab that rifle. Maybe you can dash straight through without the op hitting you, but that's a risk I wouldn't take. I would just grab the rifle, try to run
with the shots
that little bit of econ.
Yeah, and with the shots that Rain has been hitting so far today, like, it is... you are not likely to make it across if you choose to show your face. Asuna will be the one to pick that up. Another round for Manchester, now officially earning half of the rounds up for grabs on this first half.
Looking good on the attack, and yeah, the more I think about how is Ohio Northern even going to be able to attack this, right? They got that double sentinel. They have, and that should really be saving them on this defense, but I digress. They have the Rays, the single duelist. They have Chamber, who can kind of be a duelist, but more defensively. They have the Omen, who can kind of be a duelist, but more defensively.
Yeah,
it's starting to look like a struggle here.
It's not looking very good for the side of Ohio Northern, and especially as one of the teams that we had big expectations for. You know, don't want to speak too soon, but could be those expectations coming crumbling down. The only way that it really works is if the side of Manchester, they get too antsy, they get a little preemptive with the way that they play, but they have been okay with waiting their turn, waiting their moves. Singularity will be able to TP over, has a blind for what could be this hit, but that's the other issue with both these comps. There's no real telltale sign of when the hit is coming in. There isn't something like a Sova dart that's coming over and you're able to say, that is their tell. That's what's going to mean that they're hitting.
I mean, look at this. They were thinking about rotating over to A for a second there. You saw a couple of people kind of met in spawn there between the Omen and the ISO, right? Saint now going to make a lot of noise on A to try to distract, divert attention. Ult's in. Austin is going to find that kill into Singularity. That ult net diddly squat a second for the duelist here, and they will claim B site.
Yeah, and Saint's got the pick onto EMP, so now you've lost most of your players. Secret's able to find the trade, so he will be able to bring numbers back within 2, but still, I mean, Flames has the ult here, so if you have people that are pocketed up, like there are people in backsite right now, but as Bane moves away, that ult really only going to be able to give you 1 no matter where you pop it, and that's if you're able to connect. Flames and Secret looking for the save at this point, and honestly, that's really all you can do. Look to grab that op, keep EMP in the game, and I guess just play for next, but like we were talking about, this comp, it's not built for the attack side, at least the way that we're reading it. Things could start to get dire for ONU here very fast.
Yeah, you just can't retake into an op in that situation the way that things were set. They will be able to hold on to the rifles that they've managed to hold on to up to this point, the ones that they just bought. And things are, yeah, it's just looking dire here for Ohio Northern, right? They will have a second map here. This is not their map pick critically. This is Manchester's pick. Ohio Northern will have their more comfortable battleground in the next one, but they need to worry about here and now when they can. And with 2 rifles and scraps of what could be considered rifle-esque, it's up to whether or not they can bring home another round or 2 here. It's 5 in a row for Manchester.
And
Leave them indomitable.
And I'm really not a fan of this, because this means that if you lose this round, you're going into finals with basically nothing. Like, you might be able to save a rifle or 2. If you know, this round is a rollback of last, you're able to save maybe 2 rifles, able to get that op away as well. But still, it's not good looks. It's not a good sign for ONU. If they're able to put this round together, it's a different story, but you're still going into a full buy of Manchester because of the rounds that they've been able to put together.
Blinded.
One's in the tunnel, they know. They're playing this one a lot more reserved, right? In previous rounds, they've kind of stuck their spike into a site pretty early on, but now a minute has already dropped. Or there's now below a minute on the timer, I should say. And Spike's still hovering around mid, uncertain as to where they want to go with it.
Yeah, Secrets with that flash, but no aggression off of it. I'm surprised to see that Singularity didn't try to go for a timing peek off of that. Well, actually, that would make sense with the Spectre. Yeah, but now with these smokes, they might be looking for a pop of flames. He's going to be able to find 2. Singularity with the response. That's Asuna able to get Paper Swan, so kill wrestled back, but Ohio Northern now with bomb control and 20 seconds left. Loki could be a save for the side of Manchester. But they've got
they can, but what are they saving here, Emily?
Yeah, they've got the money. They can go for it, and that's Asuna, but they're actually really impactful too. You're not going to have the time to plant.
Yeah, no, not quite.
Ooh, Rain with the pick, though. He could be able to find the last onto EMP.
Is it it? Is it
position. It's not going to be able to come through in the time. They're able to rip the rifles away. So that's Ohio Northern, with a round. But again, it's a full wipe on your team. And with how dire the money was looking, that win, yeah, 2 Guardians required. EMP going to be put onto scraps at best.
Look at this, 1,300 before buying the primary weapon of the day. And it's going to be, yeah, like you said, a Guardian able to be grabbed here. 0 credits now for Singularity on the final round of the half. And Manchester couldn't be happier with how things are looking. The only thing that would have been better is getting that clutch.
Ooh, barely missing the deny of the alt. Warden will find it, but Flames trades himself out, finds one beyond. And now Manchester looking, it's obviously not over. Still a lot of time to play with. A 3v4 is easily redeemable, but that early pick from Flames, it's the kind of pace and pressure that you expect to see out of this Ohio Northern roster.
And they're not sure where Manchester is, and they have to send their Sage over to B site. The Sage, by the way, who has had res this entire time. Now they know that everybody's on A site, and now the Sage will start to rotate as EMP finds that 1 kill on high ground. The question is, will they be able to find the rest? And it's looking like a yes, handily so.
Yeah, Rain's going to have to pull out something magical here if he wants to take it. Ooh, gets the light spot onto Singularity, but Singularity with the bullets faster. So, the side of ONU able to stabilize. Things got a little scary there for a second. But now forced onto that offensive side, and this is where we're really going to have to see the pace from Ohio Northern come out to play. How do they want to work with this lineup?
Yeah, back to the pistols. Manchester, again, Manchester on pistol, by the way.
Yeah, that's the case. Things could get dangerous very fast. That could be Manchester pushing 9-5, and we talked about it with them last time. We'll see if it comes to fruition after the pistol round, because there's some key counterplay between these 2 teams with how familiar they are with each other that might be coming into play, and we might be able to see it here on the broadcast.
Early swing there for Rain, finds EMP. That's the attack kneecap, but they're going to still walk it down main, continue the plan as anticipated.
Yeah, they're able to get that space into mid, but the issue is that you're jumping down into 3. You have 4, so you do have numbers. Paper Swan is able to find 1, so now you're actually jumping into 2. That's Singularity with 1, but Bane, he's found the second. Even numbers now. Same with that D. Nobody hit down to the point where they're one tap, but he has the double tap, so he could be finding something. Paper Swan with the pick, Singularity with the response. ONU able to stabilize, able to find stuff off of their first offensive round, and looking to keep that snowballing.
And they get the plant down as well, just in case they need any extra money. It does help EMP here get up to an Outlaw and the Light Shield. This should be a done and dusted bonus round. I don't think it could be any more one-sided than what we're looking at here, favoring Ohio Northern, other than a couple of the previous rounds we've been looking at. No attempts at hero buys, no attempts at the Sheriff, no attempts at any of the pistols, anything expensive, just sacrifice around here. Let's see what we can do.
I'd also imagine incredibly low on the utility as well. Yeah, Warden having that flash single smoke will be the case. Paper Swan should be able to find two here. He lets Bane go, and Bane actually able to get the response. But he has the bomb, actually. Wait a second.
This is winnable. Like, very winnable now.
This gets very dangerous, and the flash doesn't spot Bane. He's on this tight angle. He should get the spot into Singularity. Won't be able to really pressure it, but now he's got two of his friends over here. This gets very scary, very fast. Secrets, I mean, he's able to find Bane, so that's one of the guns, but that's Saint on the long range with the classic. Yeah, but Secrets, I mean, the shots from the Guardian, the gun is just better. EMP with the final closeout, but I mean, for the side of ONU, I feel like that gets way more costly than you want. You're only left with two. It's a Guardian and the Outlaw. Yeah, for the side of Manchester, I like the adaptation that Asuna did. I'm not a super fan of what Warden's buying right now. You know they have that Outlaw. You know that EMP is still going to have that in the pocket, especially with Warden potentially taking this opening a duel. I really am not a fan of this. We'll see how it plays out.
No, it's super dangerous. You're gambling on not being on the same side as this Outlaw. If you are, you're basically sacrificing the player straight up. EMP's going to be smoked off immediately. Singularity opens things off with a kill onto Rain. Don't have to worry about the chamber any longer. Saint baits forward an EMP. No more Outlaw to be concerned with.
Yeah, ooh, that movement from Asuna. Paper Swan able to get the pick. Bane is close, but he's still worried about this mid push. Ends up not being there anymore. Bane's going to have to use a lot of his firepower in order to get through that wall. Ohio Northern up a player in this round, and this could be a little bit more of what they were looking as far as this offense goes, playing this a little bit more scattered, a little slower, hoping that the change in pace from how they normally like to play, something that would catch Manchester off guard.
I guess we're mistaken in our assumption that this comp should be defensive favorite, as their offense seems very difficult to handle. But Warden, I mean, now that they're defending the spike in a different way, things are starting to look a little bit rough, potentially. Saint walking straight forward. Paper Swan able to find one. The double tap reclaim, but it's only Saint left alive as Flames able to finish off those last two kills.
Yeah, big step through from Flames, though, to find those. And it puts Ohio Northern on a nice little streak of 3, streak of 5, if you count the 2 from prior to the half. And that's a little bit of a momentum shift now. ONU in the driver's seat. They're up, and with the better buy, might be electing, well, no, electing to go all out here. Secret's still with the lights, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see either, the buy up to heavies coming through. Manchester with a little bit more cash to play around with, though, so they are going to be able to go for some of these deagles.
I'm kind of shocked here, Emily, because I did think that they would go for the op, right? It's something that they've leaned towards a fair bit more often than other teams in this tournament. They've liked to use the op. They always have liked to use the op in other brackets as well, like the GLEC. But this B is almost completely opened up for them.
Yeah, they have they have a player very willing to run it, very willing to be aggressive with that op and its positioning. In both EMP and Paper Swan, we saw both them favoring it. But right now, things are going quiet, and I can understand the rationale, especially with Manchester having some shooters. They've had a couple of nice shots here and there, able to rip some stuff away and prop up somebody like Rain on that op. Secret's going to be hitting it. It should be Bane getting information, and the flash doesn't spot him. They might overlook this position.
Oh, the whiff, it's fine, though. He gets the shot connecting either way to 3v4. And again, I think they might have figured out where the spike is, even if they didn't fully secure it. They move quickly over towards A as EMP has found a bit of space over towards his site.
Yeah, Seeker's popped. I think it might be giving false information, though. At least at this point, they'd be aware of it, that it's not going to be that B lean. They're going to know about those players. Saint, ooh, making things a little bit more difficult than they need to be. Oh, and that's a press onto Flames and Singularity. Last one up is going to be Flames in the corner. He's able to find one with the Phantom, but Saint able to close it out. It's a nice thrifty from Manchester. And these two teams, I mean, we might have been overselling how much ONU was favored in this bracket, because Manchester, they're keeping it competitive with them every step of the way.
Exceptionally so. This is setting up to look like an OT potentially at the rate things are going. Ring has gotten control of the op, and on defense, I am much more scared of what Rain can do with this operator. Right, have seen it on attack very rarely so far from Manchester. It didn't do great, but on defense, it can of course be very scary.
Yeah, it really can make a lot of problems in Ohio Northern. After the loss, they've bought into this. A lot of those players down to just the triple-digit monies, you know, 2, 4, some even as low as 0. Asuna, he's gonna have to fall back, not wanting to give his life away in Warden. With that smoke, it will force away the Ohio Northern players. A little bit of damage given to Flames before he's able to fully get out. I mean, he'll be able to get healed the health, but the shield loss, not something that you can regain so easily.
Bit of control here on mid from both teams, right? Nobody wants to push up too far at risk of being domed, as they don't have that early map control, early round control. Below a minute now for that timer. Teams have to start considering, you know, do we want to make a move here? Ohio Northern are running not necessarily low on time, but the timer is starting to bleed.
It could certainly become a problem if you start to hit a couple of thorns in your plan. That flash from Bane, it's going to give them good information, and not too long until he gets the next. So they still know people in B main, and they know that A is completely clear because of this positioning from Rain. That is going to be the go button called here from Ohio Northern, able to get in. Singularity and Paper Swan finding one. Asuna able to collect, but that's going to be all that Manchester is really able to talk about in this round. Rain unchallenged on that A positioning. Now ONU with that 40 seconds could be going on this hunt game, trying to steal away whatever Rain has. I don't think they know it's the op, but you got to have at least an inkling at this point.
Yeah, and 10 HP, might as well send EMP out to search for this last player. You know that there is going to be a save. What a strange round. It's starting to look like whoever buys up after not having a good buy is almost not favored at all. In particular, Manchester, they win the thrifty, and then this round with their rifles, their strategy just completely falls apart in the end.
It's truly going back and forth here. Rain, though, looks like he'll be able to survive. That bomb timer getting low. EMP taking his sweet time. And Rain will be aware of the positioning very soon once he hits that trip. But EMP electing not to move towards it. So Rain will be able to retain this op moving into the next. The rest of Manchester, I mean, they'll still mostly be able to buy. Warden forced on to the Sheriff is not the best of scenes. But ONU, I mean, they're still able to keep things strong. Their buys looking good. Secrets right now sitting on those lights. I'd expect that heavy purchase coming up pretty soon. Yeah, it'll come out.
There's no money for it. 200 credits. Doesn't have enough for the heavy shields.
Nope. Oh, I was talking about Secrets. Rain, I expected the lights just because of the save.
My bad.
Yeah.
I didn't see that the Secrets had the light shields.
No, yeah. A little bit of flash gets you that information on people in mid. Asuna gets the information on Secrets over towards B, though. So both these, well, side of Manchester has a really good idea of where these players are, but Paper Swan with the early swing into Bane just gets the one tap, and that's going to be players flooding into that B heaven. Warden been able to put up a little bit of resistance, but really nothing to be found. Could be Flames popping something, but Asuna with a big 2, with a third actually, gets taken down by Paper Swan. And now Rain in a really, in a dilemma right now. We could be seeing that res come out. It will get Singularity up. And Rain, he's electing to move in towards this. Could get caught off by the angle from EMP. Looking to see if anyone elects to overstay their welcome. He will pick up a rifle, but so low on bullets. Yeah, he's going to grab the op. It's noted. And he's going to go back for the save. 2 rounds in a row where Rain has had that op in hand. Ooh, actually moving it back. I like this movement. Trying to play a little bit more damage here. It's the spot onto EMP. So knows about the player. Unable to land the shots. It's Ohio Northern breaking double digits. Just 3 runs away from taking this first map.
a starkly different second half here. Ever since Ohio Northern won that one round, let the timer tick away for themselves. The timeout going to need to be called here for Manchester, as they have done so every so often. Such a good team at using these timeouts, and they really do need one here.
Yeah, they've been great on the adaptations whenever they've let their coach really, step in, able to control some of the plays and able to really give these players big ideas as to what they want to do going into the next couple of rounds. And for Manchester, again, you're at that like make or break point. You really don't want to give ONU even more space because very soon they're going to be, on a runaway or on a crash course with taking this map number 1, putting them in a very good position for the rest of the series. Because again, we go over to that map to a fracture. That's what ONU wants. That was their map pick in this series. So clearly they have ideas of how they want to play that map. So they definitely just want to take control of the series as soon as possible, potentially get this quick 2-0 and let themselves have some time to mentally and physically prep up for that next match in that grand finals.
It's looking like it might just be a 2-0 here at the rate that things are going. I mean, if they can't lock things down here, it's like you said, they move into that final, or that second map where they're not favored here, Manchester. And Ohio Northern should be expected to be the favorites here, right? Ohio Northern, I'm pretty sure, won the last meeting between these two teams. Ohio Northern, traditionally the better team here. That'll be the tour de force popped by Manchester as well, but question if what is enough.
I like this movement, though, from Manchester, playing the moves to isolate this B main, really try to get into garage and control if there was anyone in there. But it is going to slow down, and everything is going to fall quiet.
There's a dog.
Yeah.
There's 4 players here.
Yeah.
Once he drops in, Bane actually able to win that one out with the Guardian. Another kill here from Asuna. Saint losing out the duel in that ulti. Needs to back away.
Yeah, able to escape from Singularity. That wait on the kills, because he TP'd a couple seconds before those shots were fired. That wait, I don't know if it was really worth it. You're able to get the 1, but realistically, you could have gotten the 2. You're left in that 3v3, and you've lost all that space that you fought for in B main. Electing to group up and go through this mid as a pack.
I thought they were going to rotate over to A real quick. I thought that was their next move. I would have liked that a lot personally. Oh, barely misses the timing there. Warden onto Paper Swan. I almost want to miss the timings with how Paper Swan has been. That's 1. Will there be a second? Not quite, but it's some good chunk damage. 13 seconds remaining, though. They need to use some resources to get onto sites. They got to choose right. Here it is on B. They don't have the time. The spike is not going to be planted.
Yeah, they just don't have the time, and the players, they're so separated. Asuna, I mean, he's just going to get out for security. Singularity, he'll be able to get that point towards the bomb plant, but Rain, oh, he's going to get taken down right at the end of time. I think only had the tour de force there, so nothing super, super lost, as that was a kind of scrappy buy. Yeah, but he's going to be unable to buy an AWP in this round, so has to go for the rifle. Side of ONU, though, still good economy, still good banks built up over the last couple of rounds. EMP not even going to be needing to buy, electing to use the tour de force, as it's already been popped. So Manchester, I mean, they've put a round up for themselves, but it's going to be a long road up this mountain.
Okay, there we go. They're seeing out who is and where is. Oh, that one made any sense, but Rain able to find that kill. Manchester, remember, they've only won 2 rounds of the 7 in this half, so they have to find a way to adjust. That last round could be the start of things, but something tells me maybe not quite. Takes out that trip.
Yeah. They know Bane gets the flash. Ooh, still able to find the first, though. EMP will get that trade, so it's still a 3v3. Attackers will have, at least generally, control over this heaven position, but movement from Asuna could be pivotal depending on how Ohio Northern choose to play out this mid-round. If they elect to go A, he's not really going to be in the play, but if they end up going mid, with 40 seconds left, it's still definitely on the cards. Asuna could be a pivotal player if they elect to go for that rotate, and it looks like they might be moving towards it. The only issue is just going to be the awareness from Asuna. I don't think the pin's gonna drop. Singularity moving.
Oh,
He won't get the spot. He'll move back, and that drop, Asuna had to have heard that.
I mean, so nerve-wracking. Every single motion as Secret's able to find Rain. The player on site, and now Asuna has been triggered to move. Warden swings up. Can the Omen duel go the way of Ohio Northern?
Yeah, Singularity will get the move out. Asuna trying to play for it. Singularity so far. Warden will actually be able to get that pick. It's a 2v2 left.
One-way smoke dropped on top of high ground, but that's not the place you got to be concerned about. That's the trip. Spots out the duelist. And there we go. Just enough damage. Secret's gone. It's now just the tour de force remaining. It's a shot. It whiffs by a pixel, and Asuna punishes the hubris.
Yeah. That's a really good retake from Manchester there. They were, I mean, obviously like down. Warden electing to stay on that angle for just so long. Singularity not expecting the positioning. And then from there, the use of that one-way by Warden to get the spot onto the back corner. And I think even if Warden gets taken down, Asuna close enough to really get those trades. But that's the problem with tight rounds when it comes down to it. The finances for Manchester just aren't there to be sustaining these very tight back and forths. They're obviously able to still retain a couple of those rifles, but they are going to be forced onto the Stinger for, or not the Stinger, the Spectre for Saint. Whereas the side of Ohio Northern, a full buy in order early, smoke dropped. Trying for some early movement. Will spot a clear vents, might have gotten a whiff of Warden's legs, but he will elect to move further back into this hold of A heaven.
So much space being given up here by Manchester. A lot of respect towards these vents. There's two players, look at that, trying to walk down B a little bit, see if they can get anything cheeky, but they've moved on, and B is where they're setting their sights.
Yeah, I mean, the positions from Asuna, it will be noted, probably won't note Bane, though. So we'll allow for potentially a little bit of movement. Ooh, movement towards that CT. Warden able to find a big two. Rain finds one. Well, EMP finds one. Rain with the response double, and that's Manchester had taken a lead. They've brought it back, and now that money for Ohio Northern, it starts to get a little bit scary. You know, Secret's forced onto that Stinger, whereas Manchester, they're going to have the full buys, and they should have enough for the full buys in the next. This could get very scary. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, one more round brings it to overtime contention for Manchester. They won't lose if they give away 12 rounds at that point. But, I mean, it's so close, down to the wire, 10 to 11. These two teams so evenly matched. And what a great opening for Manchester.
That's the last thing that you want for Ohio Northern. Such an impactful pick. You know where the op is, though, so you know that you won't be running into it. But you're running into Asuna, who... he's been known to have a pop-off performance or two. This wall, it's going to give him a little bit of safety. Maybe eyeing to go for something, but Bane and Rain, they combine for the two. Asuna goes for the spot. He knows where the last two are. And now, I mean, they're not quite stuck, but Saint on this wrap, they're going to have to fight their way out of this site, out of the hole that they've put themselves in. And that wall, timer is ticking down. Asuna, he might have free reign over the cross. Soon enough, those cracks starting to show.
No reason to go for this ult sword. One death, one kill gets you your ult either way, and Asuna has shown themselves.
Yeah, Secrets with the spot.
Saint's starting to move.
Yeah, with a little bit of damage onto Secrets. He's got to know about this positioning. Rain, he'll find one. Secrets with the pick, but Saint with the response. That's Manchester. Map point. First time we've said that in a long time. But could be here to close it out. And the finances for ONU. Look at that.
It's tragic.
It's so unfortunate.
You've got 3 rifles. You have your top frag right now, Paper Swan, on a rifle with heavy shields, which might be enough to carry you over the line. But when you compare it to the other side of things, Manchester can give away 1 round comfortably at this point in time. As not only the finances, but also the universe itself. 1 more round before overtime is triggered.
I've got your trail.
And that ONU, They've already ripped one of their key pivotal points. It was those Seekers. It allows for Flames to move up, but he is going to get insta-flash, so they know that somebody's going to be playing in this.
Paper Swan is the most important player on the battlefield right now. The only one with an ult available. Nobody on Manchester quite has theirs, but Manchester will find the first kill. If they can get onto site and get this res, maybe they bait, maybe they plant, whatever it may be.
Slowing them down.
Yeah, snappy from Asuna. He gets the spot onto EMP. Paper Swan, it's going to be a while until he can make his way over and rip that res, but the issue, I mean, oh, they rip it. They know he's going to go for it. Unable to find the pick. Flame is going to be out of shields, though, which could make things a little bit problematic. Singularity on this close angle could spot the players if they decide to come out of CT, and they've got 2 there. But Bane now, he's going to be coming out of heaven. Singularity gets the spot onto 1, but Bane with 3 so far. Bane with the 4.
Bane with 4!
Last up is Paper Swan. He's able to find 1, nothing more. Manchester, they take map number 1 in this series, and they've put themselves in the conversation.
I wonder what was typed there. It's such a small thing, but I'm genuinely curious what the keyboard displayed to the other team. Ohio Northern fought tooth and nail for that one, but they just couldn't take it on the map pick that Manchester felt most comfortable on. Now, though, Ohio Northern, they might look a little bit glum,
Yeah.
but they will have their opportunity to take them to a map that they are much more comfortable on.
I mean, yeah, the Fracture pick, it's got to say something in this series. You know, you elect for something like that, you definitely have an idea of how you want to run it. Looking at the stat line, Bane, top performer in the ACS, but the dominance of Rain as well on that op, 21 and 13. Big performances coming out of the supporting roles. Saint and Asuna, not even really necessary in this map. Saint going negative, Asuna barely breaking positive. When you look over on the side of ONU, Paper Swan, certainly a pop-off map, 20 and 17, able to put up good numbers. But as far as the rest of them, Singularity able to break positive, the rest of them going negative, and especially with the Duelist and the Chamber, 2 of those roles meant for individual prowess. It's an unfortunate sight to see for sure.
I mean, I have to defend a little bit Saints' play in that map, partially because the ISO was the reason they had won so many of those rounds that looked undoable, that looked unwinnable, right? That double tap in particular, good use of that util, good use of that shield. I think there were like 2 or 3 rounds clutched out entirely because of that single piece of utility.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely not a slight against Saint. I mean, he's the lowest performer, but still had massive impact across the entirety of that map. It's just to say that it's like when you have those roles that are, you know, meant for individual pop-off performances, that pop-off or the consistency in that pop-off, not a necessity. Those supporting roles, those roles that you don't necessarily think of as being the, okay, these guys need to frag out to have impact. You know, the Sky with so much utility, it wasn't a necessity for him to pop off, and Bane still showing his stuff, showing to be a formidable piece of this puzzle for Manchester.
Yeah, I mean, there's still time for Ohio Northern. They have the time to figure out what they want to do, how they want to change up their strategy for the second map. We will be going to a break. We will be back in just a bit.
Cool.
Welcome back. Map 1 went the way of Manchester, but it was damn close, was it not, Emily?
It certainly was. 13-10, a scrap throughout the entirety of it, back and forth, both vying for control. But in the end, the plays from Manchester, the shooting from Rain and Bane, able to pull them across the line. But now we move into Fracture, and I'm excited to see how this one's going to go. It's a very, very different look than what we saw on Split. Fracture, obviously, 4 lanes, 2 bomb sites, a lot of different ways that you can move in. So a lot of individual duels necessitated for teams to be good.
Yeah, it's this one's going to be Ohio Northern's map pick, right? The last map ended a little bit sour for them, right? Not just because they lost, but because of the manner of how they lost, right? Moving into this one, we're going to see an agent that we have yet to see. And then, actually, 3 agents we have yet to see. Holy! This is the
I'm
first time we're
excited.
seeing Tejo. The
Somebody
first time we're
cooked here.
seeing Breach.
Somebody cooked here. I'm excited. This is all wacky and silly. Real fast run through from what I remember seeing specifically. We've got, well, actually, I'm just going to wait until the map pops and then I'm going to talk about it because I can actually like look at the names and go, ooh, wowzers, look at the things, look at the things. Okay, on the side of Manchester, forced onto the starting attack, we see that Tejo Breach that you mentioned before, Hilda. I'm excited to see how that's all going to play out. Tejo, an agent that we see very minimal play after having an almost like start of last year with so much dominance because of the power that he was able to output, getting reined back in, getting pulled back, rain, and now kind of existing in this weird, you pull it out sometimes, but not all the time. Asuna still on the waylay, nothing exciting there, except for Saint picking up the Cypher, something we don't see a lot, especially after a lot of those Cypher changes. And on the side of Ohio Northern, it just gets silly all the time. Flames on that Neon. And the rest of those players, things that we are not necessarily unfamiliar with, secrets on that Breach, something we haven't seen yet, but the prowess that he's shown on several other initiators, not surprised to see him there. It is going to be an execute. The Manchester chooses onto that B-bomb site. EMP is going to be here. He will be set up for that potential, or Paper Swan is going to be here. Will be set up for that potential movement. Here's the movement above him from Rain, but Saint gets the spot, able to get some damage. Rain, or Paper Swan, a nice shot, but Rain still able to close it out.
I can't believe he got that kill. Threw the fire and the flames, flicked down, got it immediately, and look at this, the swarm coming across. One player remaining for Manchester and Ohio Northern just wiped them off the face of the map, and they will get this first pistol easily.
Oh, yeah, all 5 in, or all 4 remaining in, and the 4 of Manchester fall. Had decent positions in that post, the only issue just being that everyone was kind of isolated. No one was able to really take those doubles. So Ohio Northern, with the early round advantage, will be able to buy up, as we've been seeing, Manchester onto those lower pistols on the offense. We could just be seeing a barrel down somewhere. Just try to play something fast, try to get picks wherever you can, force whatever damage you might. Paper Swan, with that early positioning, I was a little bit worried of him potentially just getting run down. Will opt to go towards Dish. Be doubled up by EMP.
I do kind of would have loved to see Manchester go for something on, like, on the side where they currently have their Cypher position, right? Go for something a little bit cheekier. All players go for something fast and hard onto a different site, but there is, of course, Ohio Northern set up for that potential, right? Watching it with the Outlaw, so it's a tough one to consider.
Yeah, EMP going to be now peeking in, able to see multiple shots, unable to fully connect for a pick, but it is going to be Manchester trying to flip the map here. Secrets and Flames, they'll be able to combine. Secrets with 2. Asuna actually able to get the pick onto Flames. Secrets with another one. 3 in the round for him. Singularity picking up that 4th. Last up is Warden, and he's going to get dropped. Secrets with a big 4K. ONU stabilizing it 2-0.
A wonderful, wonderful cleanup there. The fact that they only dropped 1 player in their bonus is good looks. They might not even have to worry about... No, they will have to worry about full rifles. They did manage to get there just barely to get a full buy along. I'm sure they're missing at least a little bit of their util here. But at the same time, what a great start to this one Ohio Northern have shown. Their map pick is looking good for them. 6 out of 8 ult points on the Rolling Thunder for Secrets. Expect to see that one come up in the next couple rounds.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see that coming up in their first rifle round. Singularity going to get forced back by some of the util from the side of Manchester. Only 1 charge of the Tejo missiles left, which that's kind of the issue that you get with how this character has been changed. Ooh, Asuna not going to be able to get the fallback. Singularity with the pick. Paper Swan with a response onto Warden. And I mean, it's just looking like ONU so far. Bane able to pick up 1 in response, but I mean, this might be why we're here for this map pick. ONU clearly they figured something out.
A blink and you miss it round as Ohio Northern rip them apart. They will have their full rifles on board, on lock. No death for Secrets yet. No death for EMP yet. Two players have been able to keep themselves alive, and even though EMP hasn't found a single kill, EMP has been that tasty little steak you hover in front of a dog to make them run just that little bit quicker. That's what EMP has been to Manchester so far, and they've been unable to capitalize on that.
Yeah, gonna be opting for the B site this time instead of the A, but Ohio Northern, they're most likely going to be aware of this. And again, Paper Swan, only one on this site is the Chamber. Is gonna give it, obviously Ohio Northern playing for that hard hold A, retake B style. Allows for the Manchester players to get in and get set. But ONU, it's a firing squad to drop instantly, but Bane actually with a really big response of 2 of his own. Asuna gets 1, but Singularity with the trade-off on Bane. Equalized player numbers. Asuna tagged incredibly low, and Saint still a little unknown. Asuna with that nice pick onto Singularity will be able to escape with his life. Secret's last man up, 1v2 required of the breach.
Gonna have to be a tap here. Saint peeks out just to get the bit of chip damage and guarantee that they are not able to stick on the defuse and the thrifty claim yet again. Manchester seemingly more comfortable when the pockets are light than when they are full.
Yeah, able to get that one. A really nice double swing coming out of the side of Manchester. Gets there first on the board, like you said. But now when you're looking at those ults coming through, Bane able to get up his own at around the same time that Secrets is able to find his, but Singularity with that orbital strike online could be very pivotal as we get later into these rounds, or as Manchester maybe try to switch up the way that they're playing.
Be right back.
Low play here for Ohio Northern, thinking that somebody's going to go from behind, but look at this. Sight's almost completely clear. The question is if they realize this, they're going to pop some torpedoes from the Tejo to block out the hallway. But look at this. They're actually kind of going to go for a bait here. They're going underneath instead.
Yeah, trying to crunch EMP. They know that he's in this close corner. He'll be able to find one. Bane with the quick trade out. But Rain, yeah, just on that op, he'll be able to find one. Gets the trade on to Bane. 4v3 here. So Ohio Northern, they're starting to gather on this B site. There's 2 players on that south side towards the Dacker spawn. They might try to start to second guess themselves. As this refresh of utility and smokes come out, the mollies come out as well. Yeah, they're gonna start moving up that B main position. Not getting any spots, but the alts who already able to find Singularity with the pick onto Saint 2 left for the side of Manchester. Double invest in the alt. Warden able to find one onto Paper Swan, but the response from Secrets is good. Rain now left in the 1v3, able to find one, nothing more. ONU clean it up.
Yet again, the comfortability seems to be higher when the pockets are empty than when they are full. Manchester unable to convert on that round, but it did cost them on the side of Ohio Northern. 2 ultimates dropped in, the orbital strike, the rolling thunder, almost overlapping with each other. Manchester will be able to get most of the way to a bye here. They're going to have some late shields, and of course Warden light to get the sheriff, and that's about all that you're going to see on the side of Manchester's smokes here. Not going to go for a rifle, can't afford it.
Yeah, able to go for those light shields, puts him a little bit more into the danger zone now, and Paper Swan trying to get aggressive with this operator. That flash, it'll hold him back. He's eats the thing full. Drone will be able to spot, doesn't pop fast enough. Asuna with that pick. Now Paper Swan, he's gonna take a little bit of damage from the Tejo missiles. It's gonna allow for Rain maybe to start scaling up into this position. Loud steps from Bane. The Rolling Thunder popped. Looking to go a little bit aggressive. The stun from Flames will connect, but Bane's able to find it now. Equalizing those numbers, and Warden, the low buy, able to take out Paper Swan. Singularity gets the response onto Rain. Warden with that op, though, he definitely doesn't want to give it away. Has the orbital strike, will pop it, finds the first onto EMP with the scope onto the second of Singularity. Secrets left in the 1v3, finds one, nothing more. Bane with the pick. And Manchester, they're getting a little gritty, they're getting a little dirty with it, but they're starting to pull rounds back.
Slowly but surely, Emily, this is what you need to do in a situation like this, right? Play out the time, play it a little bit different, right? Ohio Northern, their economy has been shambling around, right? They do have enough for 2 players that have rifles and heavy shields, but the rest of the players are going to be struggling to get a full buy along. Meanwhile, Manchester, of course, only having 1 player on those light shields here. They've managed to bring things back, not just in terms of rounds, but in terms of the economy. If they win this round, which they are positioned to do so, it'll be a 4-4.
Yeah, Flames opting to go aggressive, will be able to find 2. Warden only finds 1. EMP with the response onto him. That's Manchester already down to 2. Half the manpower that ONU has. And for the side of Manchester, they're completely split up. Saint in this dish position. Bane just outside B main, stuck, knows multiple behind him. If he opts to go for the fight, is going to have to feel the wrath of many. But Saint, he's found this position. He's found the lurkin. Secrets likely aware of it, but maybe not aware of this exact angle that Saint could move from. He's going to get the damage and the pick onto Secrets. This now starts to get a little bit weird for EMP and Flames. Going to do the aggression onto Bane. Flames finds the pick. Saint last alive. EMP takes him down. Another round for the side of ONU on this map.
Manchester, they really needed that one in particular. That would have set Ohio Northern back a lot on the economy. Now they will have enough to get a true full buy here. Meanwhile, they're stuck picking at the corpse of an economy with these sheriffs on lock. They got a few shields here or there, but it's not enough to get a true full round here. I mean, again, they do better when their pockets are empty than when they are full. So it's a question to see if they can convert this round of all rounds.
Yeah, opting to go through this arcade side. Nobody really hard aggressing it. The closest that you have is Paper Swan, who's going to be looking down this lane. And yeah, that Tejo drone able to force out the TP. Asuna deep into the site. Not going to elect to recall. Going for a little bit of spam. Especially with the sheriff. And that's Saint now, unable to get the pick, gets the flick up onto Flames, able to cause a little bit of damage, but that's 2 of the duelists coming in from the main. Warden with a good save of his friend. Asuna, though, stuck in. Yeah, with the slow, it's going to be problematic. Singularity able to find the pick. Rain getting out of dodge, trying to force something weird, and Bane also very peculiar positioning, able to find the pick onto Secrets. The bomb is not necessarily planted for these 2 players. EMP finds the pick, and they're just going to stick it Rain in the corner.
Has Rain gone AFK?
I don't think it's a full AFK. It might be a mouse died or something, but I'd imagine, yeah, it's going to be a tech pause while it gets solved. So we wait and see exactly what that issue is and how long this may cause. I know we had a little bit of a disconnect. Yeah, Rain up and out of the chair. I'm guessing it might have been a DC, because I know we had a player DC yesterday, I want to say. It was one of the matches that we were watching. I know somebody DC'd in the middle of the game, so we had to go on a little bit of a tech pause for that. While we are here, though, a little bit of an update coming from the other side of the venue, coming from the Marvel Rivals bracket, the Mubba Wubba coverage. Shawnee State taking down Ohio Northern 3-1. A big win for Shawnee, cementing themselves back in grand finals, going for that rematch up against Scholars. That match is going to be happening in a little while as we get through the rest of our Valorant bracket. It does appear that, well, might be back. It doesn't look like any of the teams or any of the players disconnected. So we'll wait and see what the resolution of that tech issue ends up being.
Yeah, as an update for how the schedule is going to go for the night, or for the day rather, Valorant finals are next up after this match. Manchester ONU is currently what's going on, of course, as I'm sure you can see on your screens. Then it'll be Sussy players versus Ohio State. Whoever wins that one will be given that one the stream for this. But then after that, we will be moving back over to Marvel Rivals. So if that's what you're here for, it is on the docket. Don't fret.
Yeah, it's going to be a little while till we get there. And as we're back in our game, nothing so far popped yet. Flames spotted out by some of these Manchester players, but Saints actually going to be able to get the opening pick onto Secrets. EMP with a nice move out onto Asuna, but Rain with a quick response of 2 Singularity in the closed door. Looking to see if he moves out. He will not. Saint able to pick that up. All that is left is Paper Swan on. That is going to make mad noise. Goes for the rifle, though, so he does have a little bit more of a chance in this retake.
Spike planted.
One of the things I was going to mention, actually, before this round, before that tech pause went through, is that they haven't gone for B yet. Despite the fact that Ohio Northern have already won 6, Manchester had not gone for B a single time up to this point, and now that they have, the things have been set up for them, and they will get this 3rd round on the board, but they are going to need at least one more before I'm feeling comfortable with where they're at.
Yeah, just 3 rounds on this offensive side on Fracture. Fracture, a map that I think historically has been a little bit more attack-sided, I want to say, especially with the maneuvering that you can do. I will argue that maybe with some rebalancing, especially with some of the agent changes, it has drifted maybe a little bit more into that 50-50 category where you can have teams that are very prominent on that offense and on that defense. I think it all really comes down to the comps and how you play it.
Vault line sent forward. Don't think it connected onto anyone as nobody was quite in range. They're going to go for another hit onto B despite their previous round win. I think it's the most comfortable for them. Goodbye. Bye-bye.
Yeah, Flames and Asuna trying to go for an aggressive movement over onto Saint, but Saint able to escape. Deals a lot of damage. Well, not Flames and Asuna, Flames and EMP. Those two on opposite teams. Able to do a lot of damage onto EMP. Flames, though, able to strike first. Gets Bane down. Paper Swan with another pick onto Rain. Now Manchester down by 2.
And you've really got to be ready for something like that from Flames as Saint gets caught with his pants down as well. You got to be prepared for somebody to go for a play like that, right? When you know somebody just got forced back on that north side of the map. You got to be ready.
Yeah, you should be expecting some movement from players. Asuna in lower, trying to spot out if anyone's going to be going for something aggressive. As him and Warden, last 2 up, this could just be a long con save game, which, I mean, it's an unfortunate stance to have to be in on that offensive side, but I think it's what you got to go for with how the finances for Manchester have been all over the field. You really need to wait and get some more money, some more armaments in your account. Flames, though, might be hunting for this, might run into the waiting arms of Asuna. So he's going to be able to find the first. Alerts the rest of the team as to where they are. It's a little bit of movement, but it's no definite pounce.
Nobody wants to take any too big of risks. They already lost 1 rifle, no reason to lose another there. Manchester now down 7-3 here. 2 more rounds in the half. Manchester have seemed incapable of winning back-to-back rounds, but the way that things have gone, we're mostly seeing full buys here from both teams. Manchester a little bit behind on that front. They do have to go for 1 Sheriff and 1 Light Shield, but for the most part, rifles across the board has been consistent because of how things have gone.
And they've also got a lot of alts, and I kind of want to see a lot of those start to be used. Some of the most prominent teams that we've seen have been teams that are very efficient with the usage of their alts, very efficient with the usage, especially when they're down. But inside of Manchester, keeping things standard so far. Trying to go in Sands, EMP unable to find the picks, looking for the spam. It won't come through, as they now get a free A site. A lot of these players in drop, a lot of them ready to pounce on any players if they see fit.
Going right back into the corner. It was uncovered by the orbital strike, but you don't want to give them any extra information for where that spike is. Orbital strike sent right back on the other side of things. Flames find Saints. Manchester struggling to find the defense here at the way that things are looking. The Flames enter sight. EMP finds 1. Bane finds another, but things have fallen apart completely and entirely for Manchester from this point forward. Rain alone, and the Armageddon is not enough to win this one when it's not even online.
No, yeah, he'll be able to get the pick onto 1, unable to find any more from that. It was always going to be a tough road ahead. That is going to be Ohio Northern taking another round. Getting things a little bit concerning for that side of Manchester. Like you said, wanting to reach that 4-round mark. on that offensive side. And if you look at the finances, things are dire at best. It is going to be a scattered buy of pistols, one rifle throughout the whole. It's just
And
not
with where
looking
things
good.
are, yeah, with where things are, you kind of have to go for this. It looks inefficient. You've got 800, 600, 500 credits sitting on the line, but what else are you going to do here? Maybe at best, Warden buys a sheriff for somebody else, and then they can afford a rifle to, like an SMG to go alongside it. But what is that even really going to do for you here? You just have to hope that you're able to find some guns on the floor, get some bodies, slam.
Yeah, if you're able to find some picks, you might be able to start to work something. But the side of ONU being stalwart in their defense, not electing to give anything over. And Paper Swan on this line, he'll be able to find the first onto Asuna. Opts for the retreat back. As Manchester, they start to look towards this A bomb site with players scattered all over. It's going to be very hard to isolate a fight, especially with these weaker weaponry. Singularity finds one, Rain with a pick, but he will get dropped. So will Warden and Saint. Looks like you said, blink and you miss it. ONU up 9-3.
That is a big water jug.
Yeah, that's a big. It's not the biggest that I've seen. I had a friend back at her college who had one that I think was like 2 or 3 gallons in a single water jug. Yeah, it was the Titan. It was impressive.
I'm sorry for getting so distracted by that, but that was a big water jug.
It's cool to see whenever it's on. You don't expect it, and then you look and you go, oh, big water.
Oh, big water. I like water.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on from that, this is semifinals, by the way.
Yeah, now that we're done clowning on comms, ONU up 9-3. But onto that offensive side, and it's statistically, generally speaking, it's been their better side, especially against Manchester. Are going to go for some early attempts at stall. That's stunned from Flames.
Himself, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to find himself. Asuna with the trade onto Secrets. That's bomb control for the side of Manchester incredibly early, and that's another pick from Asuna. Really nice shots onto EMP. Last two stuck on the north side of the map. Potentially go for it split, but
they couldn't be much further from the spike right now. They will be able to get an ult orb here or there as a consolation prize. If they even want to go for it, they're just going to walk by it. Don't want to give away their position.
Yeah, valuing the level of secrecy that they now have over the potential gains of the orb in the long run. But they aren't secret anymore. Asuna with the spot, a little bit of damage onto Paper Swan. They're going to double to go for this through halls. But 3 of these players, a high, low, and Saint on an off angle, along with a Warden here waiting to peek out of this. Yeah, no, you aren't getting that. Manchester, 3 for 4 on pistols. Could start to make a conversation in this map.
Yeah, not too bad from them. This is a good start to this half. They should be able to collect this bonus round. And I mean, that was just a firing squad, right? Once they found the spike, that round was basically over. Good aggressive play to change the tempo, right? If you wallow in your score line, then you will not find much out of it. But the fact that they committed aggressively afterwards and decided to take fate into their own hands is what's given them an opportunity to start to bite back.
Yeah. Side of ONU trying to go for something a little bit more aggressive. EMP with that Bucky's gonna be able to find the pick onto Saint. So far back, but movement is gonna beckon the rest of Manchester over. Warden able to find one onto Singularity, finds the second onto Paper Swan, so is equal numbers. Warden with a third, pulling out the sidearm. EMP finds 3 of his own. Warden forced to ace if he wants to win this round, but unaware of the movement from Secrets. He will be able to respond on that. The big pick from EMP at the start ends up cascading into the round win for Ohio Northern.
And that's so rough, Emily. You really need to convert on that bonus there for the sake of momentum. 10-4 now. Ohio Northern have rifles. They're almost guaranteed to win this round. That brings it up to 11-4. And then best case scenario for Manchester, you start to make a turn there. That brings it, what, to 11-5. You can win the next round if you're lucky. This is looking very solidly like, okay, Ohio Northern are just going to win the map from this point forward.
Yeah, this is looking like ONU woke up after that first map, opting to go for something a little bit more unorthodox as far as the pool goes. But now, could Well, now it is a story of what ONU decides to do. Like you said, full rifles, full utility. It is their call as to what happens. But Manchester got a pretty good idea of where they are. Most of these Manchester players, 3 of them, moving as a pack across that northern side of the map. So they know they are all going to be gathered up on south. Rain grabbing another orb. Yep.
A lot of space, a very aggressive swing there from the Chambers. Bane does drop there.
Yeah, the reaction from EMP able to find Saint. Will actually be the pick from Rain. Paper Swan now stuck into that B bomb site.
Everything's going to become a 2v3 now, or 3v3, depending on what goes where. And Warden, that's a nice one. Again, the pockets are empty. They seem to be firing.
Yeah, we know Warden good on the Sheriff, especially if things go awry. Unable to find any more. Asuna will get a pick onto Paper Swans. That should be the rifle recovered. Maybe tempted to go for this, but with how low time is probably just going to opt for the save. Maybe try to do a little bit of damage here and there.
Yeah, just try to cut off any players who are trying to retreat from this angle. You don't really have time for this, although, you know, the more I hear it, the more it looks possible, but...
Well, now it isn't.
Yeah. I mean, maybe just try to go for a cheeky kill. You could save this one, or you could try to take away a rifle. I would have said save, but...
I mean, depending on where the finances were, you might have been guaranteed that buy into the next. Obviously, looking at it now, it looks like, yeah, they'll still be fine. Regens onto Warden. Yeah, it's all going to be okay. Able to buy up, able to get their utility. Timeout coming in for the side of Manchester. We talk so much about the conversion rate that they have off of these, but I mean, this might be a step too far, having to crawl back from an 11-4 deficit, necessitating 7 rounds to tie it all up.
Yeah, things are starting to get to the end of the line here. Like in this map in particular, I am not entirely sure what your hopes could be here.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you just try to play it long, get a little bit more experience, you know, get some of your members firing a little bit more, because it feels like the guns have gone a little bit cold between that map 1 and map 2. So maybe just try to get a little bit more on there, try to get a little bit more of a read of the style that ONU is trying to go across the entirety of this. But you still got Breeze waiting in the wings, and that one going to be playing completely different to Fracture. So I am a little unsure as to what to expect coming out of these next couple rounds.
Ohio Northern, this is something that I don't think Manchester did once, by the way, going from the north side on the attack. I think it was exclusively south side offense.
At least majority south side, yeah.
It will be stifled a little bit. The dash in immediately recalled orbital strike. It's going to force some positioning, a lot of positioning. But I mean, how much will it matter when Manchester start to bleed players before anything else? Singularity with a second. Warden will start to bite back, but how much more can be done here from Manchester when they're giving away so much space and the Spike has a free entry borderline onto the site?
The positioning from Warden could have been good, but it won't find anything. Secrets with another pick. Insane. I mean, he's been sniffed out. He will get gunned down. That is ONU looking to equalize the series at 1 apiece and potentially, well, take us to that map number 3, neutral site of Breeze.
There's no hope for winning from this point forward at Manchester. Your best hope is to bring it to overtime and win from there, but that's 8 in a row necessary. They've not been able to win 2 in a row from this point, or up to this point on this map. The best weapon they have to hold on to is a Guardian. This would have to be the single best round I think we've seen today.
It would be an utterly monumental clawback for Manchester if they were to do it. Either monumental for Manchester or a monumental throw from the side of Ohio Northern.
Bits of util being thrown around. I think still favoring Ohio Northern from that position. Look at this Paper Swan. Just going to bait them forward.
He's been read out, though. Being able to find the pick. Saint should be able to get the upgrade. But that is going to be the rest of ONU collapsing on site.
I was about to say, they're able to just walk up for free. This is going to have to be the retake, but I mean, so far retakes have looked very good on this map from both teams, all things considered. Manchester hasn't been as good as Ohio Northern, but it's still been adequate. Secrets finds the first kill for Ohio Northern there, and there we go. It's a 2v3 now. Ohio Northern, only 2 players remain as Manchester. They still need to get the retake. Solid. Saint finds a third, and there we go. Asuna brings Ohio Northern to their knees, and Manchester a 5th point.
Yeah, they're able to bring that back. The gained rifle from the early pick onto Paper Swan. Saint, the right one to grab it, able to find that big 2 there from the corner position. Now, shuffling around the defuse so they can get ultimates up. They can get things close. Asuna obviously just using his. Warden, I mean, not that much closer. So it is still, it's going to be a long way back up into this match, but not impossible.
It's not. This is where that has to begin, though, right? Bane and Rain, neither one has great weapons. Now Bane will be able to get that Vandal. Somebody bought it for him, and Rain on the other side of things, the Guardian, not ideal, but better than this Sheriff, right? Paper's wanting to play to try to cannibalize a weapon off of somebody if possible. Going through Dish, maybe.
You want to play? Let's play.
Yeah, it's a possibility. The Tour de Force popped, so now that Dish lane is going to be immensely held down. EMP starts to get up, dealt a little bit of damage. Swan given the ability, or Saint given the ability to move over the flames, getting that pick onto Bane. Still dull half damage, so not exactly coming out of this completely healthy, but those Ohio Northern players, they are able to maneuver out and maneuver away if they do so. Please, and Paper Swan with that pick onto Warden.
I hate to keep saying it.
Grim.
I hate to keep saying it, Emily, but every time this team has rifles, they seem to lose it out. I'm not sure what's going on here. It might just be a coincidence. It might be a fluke, but with 2 players remaining, it looks like this is going the way of Ohio Northern.
Yeah, it's looking very unlikely for Manchester to pull this across the line. They're doubled up, so they can start some sort of retake, but Singularity already on that angle, and the flank from EMP so deep into the spawn. Oh, they're slowed, they're stunned, it is just over. EMP with 3 on the round, and that's ONU forcing map number 3. Breeze will be our battleground to find the winner of this series.
And it was not close, this map. The first map was extremely tight. We were talking in the first break there, right? We were like, oh my god, I can't believe that Manchester did this. I'm going to be honest to the viewers with this for a moment. We were shocked to see Manchester win that first map. Second map, that, I think, if you're watching at home, that should be closer to your expectations for how this match would be going. 13-5, 13-15, the best performance there from Manchester with Warden up there, but 18-9 from the waylay of EMP. Disgusting performance there.
Yeah, big impact from the big game players. And what I find interesting is there's a little bit of parity going on around the venue. Manchester scraping out the first victory and then taking the second map loss hard, forcing a third across the bracket. On the side of OSU against Sussy Players V3. Similar looking scenes tied up at 1-1. Sussy winning Bind 13-9. OSU taking Lotus 13-3.
A near mirror image for these 2 teams so far. But, I mean, there's no way to figure out how it'll end than watching the end. As we go on to a quick break, we will be back in just a bit. Don't go anywhere for this head-to-head.
Welcome back, gang. Map number 3 of this matchup, Ohio Northern Manchester. Ohio Northern bringing it back on that last map of Fracture, taking it, I mean, confidently, I would say, a 13-5. It's pretty hard to argue with that, but Manchester, they were able to squeak it by, so we know they can do it. Map 3 of Breeze is going to be the venue for our decider in this series.
I mean, it doesn't get much more one-sided than what we saw on Fracture, despite how close Split was, despite how impressive Manchester was. Ohio Northern was even more so once we got onto Fracture, and once we saw how they were playing those post plants, once we saw how they were playing, those trades, so many good things that we saw from Ohio Northern on that second map. Third map, we need to see Manchester return to form and take a step above what they've shown so far.
Yeah, and I mean, Breeze is definitely something where we can see that happen. It's going to allow for a little bit less chaos in like tight enclosed spaces. It allows for a little bit longer range. So potentially some of those Manchester like aimers that we were seeing with the shots that Bane and Rain were able to hit on that opening map might come a little bit more into play. And especially Breeze is a map where I can see, you know, wanting to favor more of the ops, which we saw Rain really liking and really doing work with, especially on that map 1 of Split.
Yeah, and I want to take a quick look at some of the stats we got from that previous map just for people to, be aware of how things went. Just so y'all know, despite the fact that the scoreline was 5-13 in that previous map, Ohio Northern got the first kill 16 attempts out of 18 possible rounds, with a retake success rate of 57%.
Yeah,
That was where Ohio Northern were really winning those out. They were confident in their first 1v1s in those 5v5 situations, and once the spike went down, they held their composure and continued onwards.
I think the real reason for that is that Manchester didn't give them a reason to be unconfident in the early round. There was no ops that were getting online early. There wasn't really a lot of resistance, especially with Manchester, starting on that defense or starting on that offensive side. ONU really just felt like they had an open playground, and once sides swapped and ONU got onto that offense, it stayed pretty much the same from then on out.
And now we're just waiting on the players, waiting on them to get all set up and ready here on Breeze. I feel like I have not seen any Breeze play in a while here.
Yeah, it's been
Anywhere.
it has been a long time waiting for Breeze to not only come back into this pool, but also to really return to a place where it's something that is a regular sight to behold in this, in the meta overall of Val had a little bit of a time where it was outside of the competitive rotation, getting brought back in semi-recently with some changes, allowing for it to really, become a more even, a more enjoyable map to play, especially with, removing the upper alley position or that mid-tube position, taking that route away, and now necessitating a little bit more traditional play on the map, but it has allowed for some things to get a little bit funkier as time has gone on. Currently, I got vision on one of the teams, so I'm trying to see what the issue is with these teams, with these players, what exactly may be causing the holdup for us so far, if it is a tech issue or if it is just making sure that everything is all right and dandy. It looks like we are going to start to load into the map soon, so we should be getting a good look at those agent selections in just a moment as we got them pulled up right here.
Astra.
I'm more interested about this Asuna pick. Staven away from the Waylay that we have been so consistently seeing, opting to pick up that secondary, or you could argue primary smokes of the Viper. On the other side, ONU opting potentially to just be going for the single smokes of Singularity, something that I personally I'm not a fan of, simply just because I feel like this is a map where wall smokes are almost required. Otherwise, not too surprised by any of these. The Flames shift over to the KO, maybe a little bit surprised by that.
KO being pulled out here is very interesting to me. I feel like I haven't seen KO at all yet this tournament, but of all maps, it does make sense to see it here, right? The way that those knives can fly and cover whole sites, it'll get you the right amount of information. And I'm trying to think of the map name. It's a different map. Abyss. I could have seen KO on Abyss, and I could have seen KO here.
Yeah, not super surprised to see it, at least on this site, or on this map. It's definitely something that has seen some play here and there, but it's not something that is necessarily too prominent, especially at that upper echelon. It's something that you tend to see right around this rank, and honestly, not super surprised. He provides a lot of pressure and can cause a lot of issues. Manchester obviously starting on that offensive side, so we are going to be seeing A little bit of those Astra smokes coming out as we can see the couple pre-placed. One in that mid position, one over on yellow, one in this A main spot.
Bit of walk up here actually for the defense, playing this quite aggressively. Taking a little bit of space, but look at this. Range is walking right through, but misses the swing up on Singularity. He's going to find two. The collapse would have been there if he missed either shot, but luckily for Ohio Northern, they didn't.
Yeah, that wall, it's going to go down pretty soon. Warden on what could have been a really good position. Won't be able to get it. Flames with the spot. EMP with the shots. Finds the last two. In Manchester, it's looking like...
Looking like a good start to the round.
Yeah, it's looking a little bit of signs of the last map that we saw.
I mean, that's what you want to see if you're a fan of Ohio Northern, right? This is the kind of thing you're expecting. This is the kind of thing you're hoping for. You want to see them take aggressive fights, take aggressive angles, and go unexpected against Manchester. Reminder, this is a team who, in a vacuum, we expect Manchester to be the weaker team. That first map, Ohio Northern want to call it a fluke.
Yeah, see,
Oh,
I
the
mean, he
collapse.
misses the first, but he's able to find the second. Get more than that. Manchester, they'll be able to use the reload to get onto site. Rain finds the first. He's been good with his pistol so far. Secret's getting the pick onto Warden. Saint drops as well. Rain, last man up, only has the classic with a smoke at best, and he's going to get hunted down. Secret's with the 4K. Another round for Ohio Northern, and it really looks like they're starting to feel themselves.
Yeah, I mean, that was the bonus, right? The fact that they got one kill is a decent look there for Manchester, right? They're able to take away one gun. It's not the highest priority, it's not the highest value kill, but a kill is a kill at the end of the day. 5 rifles now obtained here for Manchester. The Guardian is going to have to suffice for Warden. You're not going to get much better than that as Rain and Bane thinking about who wants what. The two players rhyming with kills.
Yeah, they're the only ones who've been able to truly strike EMP on this early spot. I mean, he'll be able to get the headshot onto Rain, so it doesn't even really matter. He had the full shields ready for the Outlaw positioning, but able to get that pick, able to shut him down. And now Manchester have to work lacking a man.
I mean, shields don't matter if you just get killed, if you just get headshot, right?
Yeah.
The Outlaw ain't much worse than the Op if you just hit every head.
Yeah, that's how it be, at least with this lineup. Now Manchester slow in the mid round with about a minute remaining, so really can't start to play around these positions, see what they want to do. Secret with the spot. Saint will be able to get the trade, is going to get tagged down though, so he is in a dangerous position for any of the rifles, well, any of the guns that Ohio Northern has on this board.
Singularity keeping his right ear open for whatever Manchester decides they want to do. Walking right by the old Torb, decides they don't want it.
Yeah, wall coming down, a little bit of utility used, and that's going to be Manchester able to break in. Asano with the first pick on. Get the knowledge of Paper Swan and EMP on yellow. This is Manchester able to get the bomb down in a 4v3. Well, the issue is how low Saint has been. How low Saint is in the HP. Takes him kind of out of these rounds moving forward.
Any straight bullet will be able to take the kill onto him. Ohio Northern, their time is starting to run a little bit low as they swing up. Bane able to find one, Warden another. The collapse is not quite there for Manchester, or for Ohio Northern, as Manchester able to get theirs.
And Flames, last man up, 70 HP, will get taken down by Warden on the back. That is Manchester. They dropped the first, but they're able to regain and recover. First round on the board for them.
Right, and it's good looks that they're able to get this round. The third round, right, it's how things are supposed to go. First round is definitive. Whichever team wins it, they win it. And then they win the second, and then they will lose the third. That's how things are supposed to go in Valorant. We haven't quite been seeing that up to this point. And Ohio Northern, because Paper Swan forced bot, I guess this last round, gonna have to go for the Marshall. But at the same time, you know, again, you hit the headshot, it doesn't matter.
He's gonna change his mind, go for the Outlaw, no shield, so it's gonna be a potentially very hazardous round here if he is to get caught out. And with all these players on Manchester having those heavy shields, could be a little bit of a problem, or at least more of a problem and what they might want. Bane
Trying to use
already
that shock dart just to clear out in the util.
almost completely out of util, and Flames is going to take the head off of Rain first. Bane not close enough to get the trade. Just going to be from Manchester. Over, gonna start to get stalled out. That shock dart able to find something, but Bane with a big 2. Secrets on this close angle, able to find 1. Warden will get the trade, and it's Manchester with 2 players on low HP. They are able to find the space, get the plant down. Singularity on this flank, though, might not be aware of it. They do have a cross on this main position, so they actually make me eat my words. Singularity now definitely noted, able to find the 2nd and the 3rd. All the low HP players getting finished off by 1 tick of damage here or there.
You were talking about, oh, there's 3 players low. Oh, they got this nice crossfire. The crossfire means nothing if you break it, right? That was entirely avoidable for Manchester. They turned from the crossfire they had set up. It would have been potentially enough to get at least one of those kills, sacrifice a player, get a kill, right? But at the end of the day, they break their formation. They try to go for swings. They try to go for util, and that's what ends up breaking them in that round. They still have enough, thankfully for them, to get most of the way to rifles. They're going to have a share for Warden, but things are fairly even on that front, a Guardian and a Bulldog on the other side of things. But that round would have been so nice for Manchester to keep their economy in good grace.
Yeah, it would have been so much better for them to actually be able to find it instead. Obviously, as you mentioned and as we saw, going to be giving up the cross, giving up the potential. EMP able to find 1 and the 2nd onto Saint. It's going to be rifles for some of those lower players. Asuna able to find the only good graces that Manchester has been able to get in this round. EMP on the back, gets spotted out. Asuna 1 tap away from falling. Would need to ace to close the round out, but EMP with a big 3. And now ONU back into that position where it looks like they're starting to roll and they're starting to find their footing.
Yeah, now from this point forward, Manchester, they're going to have to give this round away, right, just because of how things have worked out. I mean, I'm not willing to call it, but it's starting to get to that point where for Ohio Northern, it looks like they might just be able to run away with the game. They might be able to just take complete control. If they win this round, which they will win this round, it'll put them to 5-1. 3 in a row here for Manchester, or for Ohio Northern, rather.
Yeah, it is looking like an ONU round. Brandon Bane, though, able to slip through. Don't get spotted, but EMP with the early aggression. They'll find Warden, so that's going to be some of their smokes down. Saint getting chased, will get spotted, will get taken out by Paper Swan. That is the bomb that dropped as well. Secrets getting the pick onto Asuna. Last 2 up, Bane and Rain. Top performers of map 1. We try and make something happen here if Manchester doesn't want to go down 4.
I mean, Bane and Rain have had the best performance of their whole entire tournament life, I think, so far. Right? Secrets is watching the wrong angle, but switches over just in time for Bane to swing up. Rain gets that kill. A little bit of damage dealt to the economy. A flash, and it matters just enough.
Yeah, Paper Swan cleans it up. Another round for ONU on the board. Manchester, it looks like they'll be able to scrape things together. Is going to be that timeout called. Nothing too out of the ordinary. Manchester looking to talk with their coach, get a little bit of a regroup and a reassess as to what they need to do moving forwards.
Reassess strategies, reconsider pathways. I mean, they need to set their mental straight, I think, before anything else, and I think that's what this timeout is primarily for. You see the coach all the way at the end, they're talking 1,000 words per minute, and everybody still seems mildly upset, if I had to say that at the very least. The mental health needs to be the first thing on the line here for Manchester. That comes in line, everything else might just start falling into place.
I mean, definitely. It's hard to bring it back, though, after a map like last, and with a start of this one similar to that last map. You need to, you really need to curb what could be a runaway half and start to really reset yourself moving into the next. Timeout's going to end. Means that we're going to get these players back up and rolling. side of Manchester, hopefully, they'll come in with a good game plan.
It's got to be real good, though. Paper Swan coming into this one with the operator in hand, and a lot of credits. Even if you manage to kill the op wielder this round, there'll still be 67,000 credits to deal with in the future. Just enough to buy an op and a heavy shield, and a little bit more before the end of the round, even.
Yeah, the economy for Ohio Northern, especially with that string of 3 and the string of 2 right beforehand, it's allowed for a lot of money to be built up in the back pocket. Don't really need to worry about getting reset if they are to lose this map. It's going to take several losses in a row, something that they have not been able to be dealt quite yet. EMP, he'll be able to get the pick onto Rain. Bane steps up for the return. Flames with the return back, and that's the bomb down in a very precarious position. Able to grab it and start to move back.
I mean, there's literally one player right now on A if Manchester are able to get this read, but Ohio Northern, they're starting to be a little bit concerned, a little bit weary of this possibility. But look at this. Look at where they're trying to go. Flames is watching this.
He's got a spot into mid, so if they opt to go close mid into B, they will get spotted out instead. Opting for the movement towards A, and honestly, with the players that you've dropped these last 3 utility-wise pieces that you want, you'll still have the usage of that wall onto A. Early smoke gets called in, cuts Warden, keeps Secrets at this yellow position. Paper Swan missing the shots. Asuna is actually going to drop. Warden with the flank, able to find out Secrets. Saint trying to bait the movement. He will get spotted, needs to stick. And just
barely doesn't get it down.
Yeah, Paper Swan with the spot will be able to get the finish onto Warden after time is called. That's ONU another round on the board.
There's 4 ultimates on the field, but no rifles to speak of. The ultimates might be enough to turn the tides in their favor, but at the same time, there's still 2 ults on the other side of things. The op held by Paper Swan means that you're not going to see that tour de force anytime soon, but the overdrive, it's entirely playable at this point. But you have 2 ults for Ohio Northern that can help remedy an economy that starts to look dire if you need it.
Yeah, Knives coming out for the side of Rain. We've definitely seen him be able to do work with these before. Singularity gonna get noted, and Rain able to find the pick. He'll be able to find the gun, but he's just knocked so darn low. 8 HP, all that remains on the Jet. But now the bomb is down. Some players start to move in. EMP able to get the first onto Saint. Good response. There is some stuns out towards the positioning, but Warden able to find the first onto EMP. The Sova ult from the side of Manchester getting called in. The Hunter's Fury will not find any picks. Flames kind of low, but Flames, he finds his another. Warden with the pick, and now 2 left. Bomb definitely in a defendable position for these 2 players. Warden with some shots. Bane drops, but Warden gets the pick. It's a 1v1. Paper Swan and Warden, all that's left of these 2 teams. Paper Swan will be able to get it, but there's no time. With that clock ticking down, you should be able to get out with that operator. But it's a nice little round for Manchester, though.
Yeah, they're able to get this one, a thrifty on the board. They're still giving away that operator over to Paper Swan, who gets to keep that sniper rifle. But, I mean, a win is a win at the end of the day for Manchester. They prevent the first half from going majority Ohio Northern quite yet. 6-2. And this half, I mean, it's still in the cards, but you need to have a good performance here, then we're talking.
Yeah, it's rounds on the board, and that's really what you're looking for the side of Manchester.
Sure, and it didn't cost too much in the terms of ults, right? It did cost a Hunter's Fury, it did cost a Blade Storm, but you still have 3 here. You've got the Null Command, you've got the Cosmic Divide going to be dropped in, and with this Viper's Pit available, they might end up needing it, but I doubt it with 2 already invested.
I mean, you might just want to use it for security, get another round on the board. Obviously, there it is. It is going to come in. The 5v5 retake, you don't want to take any chances, allowing for Ohio Northern to potentially get something going. Cosmic Divide falling down. Dart unable to spot all of these Manchester players they are in. Asuna gets the first pick onto Flames. A lot of shots from the side of ONU able to come through. It's going to be the stick onto the pull-up, but 1 HP for Flames. He's so low. Asano gets the pick as well. Secrets already going to be tagged down. He's able to get the pick onto Asana, so he drops that, but time is just so darn low. Bane with the shock dart. Won't quite drop him, but he gets the confirm. Able to get out as well with the rifle. In Manchester, they could start to make things work if they have to play more of these rounds scrappy. We are already seeing that on the side of OMU. EMP is going to have to invest the ult, so will Paper Swan, as it is called in pre-round.
I mean, EMP still has time to call out the ultimate, right? I expect that to come in next round when, probably going to buy Secrets, the rifle, in this next round after this. But now we're starting to talk for Manchester, right? If they can win this round out, then I'm starting to be a little bit more of a believer in this team.
Yeah, the conversation starts to get a lot more doable as opposed to what we were doing earlier, which is, getting on a whole lot of hopium and just praying that it was enough. EMP Flames will be able to find, well, EMP finds 2, 1 through the flash, and he just finds 4. Easy pickup on the players walking through. And now, I mean, any goodwill that we gave to Manchester, any potential, that chance, it starts to dwindle down. 2 rounds left in the half. Best you can ask for is a 7-5. That requires them to string another 2 together. It's not something that they've done. It's definitely a potential, but it is just not looking likely.
It's the first time in 2 maps here, Emily, that Manchester has won back-to-back rounds. They looked to try to extend that lead, and they couldn't quite, and now they have to make it work with just a bunch of sheriffs in their hands. I mean, again, when the pockets are light, they look good, but they need to look damn good to find a 4th round here. And again, that's just a 4th round, Emily.
Yeah, it is not good scenes that you want to see if you are here rooting for Manchester. Warden on this angle, though. EMP, if he stuck on it, he would have been able to find it. Reynolds would be able to pick it up. Flames trade. But that rifle a long ways away from those Manchester players if they want to get it back on the board. Bane not going to be able to spot Flames. The exact position of the KO is unknown. He's playing for the push-up into halls if they do choose to go for it.
They're going through A. That's the spot, or the B rather. They're going through B. That's where they want to go here. Shock dart. Doesn't actually connect onto anybody, and they do have an old sword there if they want to grab it. And with a player advantage, somehow the light pockets might genuinely start to be a blessing in disguise for this team.
Yeah, it's a lot of potential thrifties, and it's a lot of good economic damage. Bane with the really nice shots onto Flames. Singularity, unknown, now spotted. A little bit of damage into him. But Paper Swan from this backline. The issue is that this is a similar position that we were in earlier with better armaments, but Saint, he's not going to overstep or overthink his placement. Now, Singularity on that bomb. He'll get that tap. Yeah, it should be noted. Asana will be able to pick it up. Another round for Manchester, 7-4. It's not quite as bad of a first half as they were having over on Fracture. Still not smooth sailing.
I mean, if you end this half 4-1 in the last 5 rounds, that is not a terrible look. 7-1 in the first half favoring Ohio Northern, or the first part, the first, 7 rounds of this half. I mean, Manchester will be able to enter the second half if they can win this round in particular with a lot more momentum than they went into it with.
Yeah, it is going to be a still going to be a long road back, even if they are able to capture this round. Paper Swan going to retake that aggro angle. Might be able to find Bane, depending on what the peeking looks like. We'll fire the shot off, but it goes a little wide. Asana and Bane, they don't want to deal with it, so they're just going to rotate back. And as we get into this mid-round again, Ohio Northern, they've expressed good control over the map. Flames, well, not Flames, EMP, so deep into middle. It's going to be very interesting. Ooh, yeah. Bang gets the first pick onto EMP. EMP trying to move up, will get taken down by Rain. Numbers now favoring the side of Manchester. It might be a regroup hit B called. Warden moving up. Steps from Saint and Rain. Secrets had to have heard this. He's going to be without his recon dart for a long time. Is going to be noted. Going to be flashed. Second flash comes in. Rain a little bit slower to the break. Secrets will be able to find the first and the second. Not able to find the third. Warden able to find it out. It's a 2v2.
I mean, that was cutting it close as well. Looking for where to put those stars. Paper Swan, the retake with the op is not ideal under any circumstances, but look at how far away Manchester are dipping out. They know where the op is, or at the very least they know that there is an op to be worried about. They're going really far, and as their opinion.
Yeah, they're expecting the flank from Singularity since he's been there almost every time that they've had to retake that B site. They've got some util, they've got the ability to play things slow. The smoke from Singularity, it'll kind of cut bomb off, but it won't be perfect. Warden will be able to find the first onto Paper Swan. Singularity, last man up. They'll be able to find the first. Low time, not enough. They'll be able to find the second pick onto Asuna, but it won't matter. Manchester with a 5th round and a little bit of a resurgence right when they need it.
Don't do this to me. Don't give me hope, Manchester. I'm starting to see that there's a chance. The light is back on upstairs. And there's hope in this world for what Manchester are able to do. Reminder, they are the underdogs here for sure. And if I sound like I'm biased, maybe slightly, just because you can't argue with an underdog story every once in a while. Now going into the pistol round, they have to win this one here. I think it's 2-3 favoring Manchester right now. 2-6 or 2-4. What am I saying? 6-4. 2-4 if they can win this one.
Yeah, it's either 2-4 or 3-4 favoring Manchester. In overall pistols. Oh wait, no, so that would be like 3-5 or something.
Got a target at blocking
So I thought they split pistols on the first map. I could be wrong, but EMP is going to get noted, able to get the early dink onto Warden. That's going to force a very weird movement out of the Astra. Rain on this middle position, but Saint, he's able to find the pick onto Flames. That's the bomb dropped. Singularity will get the trade onto his counterpart in Smokes, but Rain with the mid-map pick onto EMP. Secrets, he finds the first. Rain and Secrets both low. Paper Swan trying to get a little bit of movement. Won't spot anybody. Be expecting the player in the smoke, but in the mid-round, the 3v3 goes quiet. It's going to be the full force of ONU. What is left in the round start to move up through the middle of this map. But Manchester, they've started to get an idea of what's going on here. Bane is going to opt to rotate fully through to that B-bomb site. Saint opting to stay late towards A. And they'll only have 2 on this site to fight back. But Bane on this position. Ooh, it's shifty from Paper Swan. Unable to find it. The shots from Rain, I mean, so far they're good. One tap. Singularity will get taken down by Saint. That's another pistol for Manchester.
They're starting to feel it here, Emily. They're starting to feel that hope. 7-6. It'll be 7-7 if they can convert on this bonus, which they have downright struggled to do. Inarguably so far, Manchester has struggled on these bonus rounds far more than should be expected. They're coming into this one Stinger, Spectre.
It's been a long time since we've seen it on those player cams, and I don't know if you picked it up at the very end, but there were some smiles on those Manchester players' faces. They're starting to have fun. Things could get interesting here. EMP on that Neon. Ooh, he is already trying to go fast. He will try to get the pick onto Asuna. Don't get any information. He's still got that Bucky, though, so he could be very dangerous in these close quarter situations. But that side of Ohio Northern, they are going to opt to move out. EMP trying to make a little bit more noise, trying to bait some more of the Manchester players to move into the B site. But Warden, stalwart in the defense. He wants to keep the A site locked down. He doesn't want to let anyone in just yet. It is going to be Saint, who's also able to rotate over. Gathering in mid for most of these Ohio Northern players. But they might have just been a little bit too late. Saint already on the angle with the Outlaw. He's going to watch for anyone who comes out of this position. Is going to get smoked off, but he's going to be able to find the early pick onto EMP. That nullifies the buy from the side of Ohio Northern. And Warden is going to be able to peek out, gets the 2. Paper Swan left alive as Saint finds Singularity. Rain with another. And that's Manchester. They're starting to put things together. They've been able to get the bonus now with minimal damage.
Yeah, they lost one player, Warden fell, and they almost got the spike planted, but they didn't. Critically, they didn't. That's going to cut into their finances. EMP's forced by on the Bucky, needs to go for it again. Secrets, going to have to go for light shields. And look at this, 0, 0, 0. No money after this round for Secrets, Paper Swan, or Flames. If they go down, they're not going to be able to buy anything. Singularity goes down, no purchases. At best, you're looking at some pistols, like Sheriffs or whatnot. 3 credits is what you've been able to squeeze out of this round for a couple of these players.
A little bit of a shift up as to what they were going for, but in the end, any damage is good damage. A lot of these players are going to be forced off of buys into the next, even if they're, even if not them taken down, but some of these players that are surrounding, even though they have those rifles, this is still easily doable for Manchester. A shot from EMP is going to be able to find it. Flames gets the pick onto Vayne. Rain also getting taken down. Now it's just left up to the 2 defenders of Warden and Saint. Ooh, and that Outlaw, it really could feast. Some of these players already taking some damage, especially those with the full shield. The great shot out from Saint. And Warden with a chance, depending on the routing, could be able to find a really big pick in Paper Swan and might be able to find it. The shift up into this B window. He's not going to see anybody looking at him, and no one's going to turn around just yet. He'll be able to spot it. Yes, is able to find Paper Swan. Finds the upgrade now, has a Vandal. There's more of a conversation to be had about this round.
This is a round that should be going the way of Ohio Northern in a vacuum. And look at this. Secrets is going to try to confirm that Manchester have no shot. 3-1 now, and Saint might just have the best chances of saving here. But that's another kill. Singularity gone. Every rifle you take away is more money. Take it away and another kill. It's not the round, but it'll do for you.
It's massive damage. 4 of those Ohio Northern players dropping. I mean, there's the buy from ONU. It's going to be weird. It's going to be scrappy. And on that side of Manchester, it's looking much more solid all around.
And look at this. Saint is going to try to take advantage of it, thinking about if they want to go for the Outlaw, and they decide, yes, Outlaw is the move on this round when you got 3 players on the other team who are not able to afford heavy shields. Singularity on the Guardian will be able to get those heavy shields in order to sacrifice that rifle just for that extra protection. And in this round, that Outlaw is going to be scary.
Yeah, it's a real potential damage dealer. Already Bane getting hit with a little bit, but Rain able to find one. Does not expect the second of Paper Swan. So he will go even 1-4-1.
Here.
Bane gets the pick onto Secrets. That's a bomb dropped in the middle. Flames will be able to get the response. And Asuna now could be the target of this hit. It could be that B bomb site. Saint, ooh, he might be able to go for this. Won't go for the peak just in time. Flames will be able to just skirt by.
I don't know how Saint didn't see Paper Swan there. I don't know if you saw how the crosshairs, the reticles, the FOVs were interlapping there, but Paper Swan was all over Saint's screen there.
Yeah, it could have just been a small thing, a little miss of the moment. Warden making a little bit of noise, might have been noted by Paper Swan, so this could be knowledge that there's one on that A bomb site, so it will be a little bit of a fight, but EMP, he's going to start making noise, he's going to start to go loud. Warden with a little bit of damage. Go for a little bit more utility. It will start a little bit of a strange movement here, and able to find the first onto Flames. EMP gets the trade, Paper Swan with the movement up onto Saint, finds the second onto Asuna. And ONU, they're stabilizing here after that weird buy. Side of Manchester forced down onto something a little bit lower.
Manchester, they're going to have to work through a gap that they've built for themselves as Ohio Northern are going to be able to start to extend their lead, their financial lead over Manchester, right? They have enough money here to go for an effective full buy most of the way there, especially when compared to Manchester, who are playing with scraps right now. The best they've got is a Stinger, a couple Sheriffs. They don't have much in the way of rifles.
Yeah, it's not looking great. Saint all the way down on a Bandit. Which could be good if he's able to get incredibly close to these players, but this close positioning from Rain, it won't be able to find anything. EMP with the first onto Saint, finds another and a third onto Bane. Last one up is going to be Asuna. This positioning, it's not... Well, if they were going B, it wouldn't have been horrible. Do elect to rotate back towards that A side of the map. Secrets will get that bomb down, extending the alt advantage that Ohio Northern has in this map so far. As Asuna now forced into the 1v5 retake. It's not looking likely. If Paper Swan was close, it could have been something that you could argue doable. It won't be. Singularity able to get the pick, able to find the frag now.
Double digits here, Emily. Double digits now for Ohio Northern, and the timeout has to be called now or never as you finally get the rifles back online here.
Yeah, it's another necessity for this team, and we saw what happened the last time that they popped that timeout. 4 out of the 5 rounds after it were secured. So Manchester could be looking at another real crawl back into this series if this timeout is able to be as impactful as the last. But still a ways away from calling this map over. It's going to be a long road ahead of both of these teams.
I mean, that road could be shortened up very quickly by Ohio Northern. Manchester have the long road ahead of them. And all that, Ohio Northern have to do is find the next exit and take it. But it's up to Manchester to prevent them from finding it, right? They need to step up. They need to find the way. There's a line here somewhere. I'm not sure where, but Manchester, it's their responsibility now to find it.
Yeah, it's something that they might be able to make work, but again, it still is a ways away. It's going to take them a second to find it. Should be able to buy up for the most part. Rain will have that Blade Storm online, and looks like it will be getting used here. Obviously, with no primary picked up so far. Everybody else, full shields, rifles. It's going to be aggression coming in from the Jet, trying to find somebody on this A main position, but nobody is home. That's going to be great information, as well as the recon knife. The 0 point shutting them down. Paper Swan could be finding positions, but Warden able to get the first.
Blocking vision.
It's concerning that one. If Paper Swan was able to get away with murder there, quite literally, in fact, then that would have been Manchester sent packing. But that pause that they're ever so reliant on, it'll get some value. Both players a little bit of sleep at the wheel there. Bane is going to be dropped by EMP.
Yeah, and Rain in this close position, he knows about these close players. Pop the door. Try to get a little bit of their attention drawn, but it's not going to happen. This player's moving towards B. Smoke will get popped. Asuna unable to find the first, usually good for it. We'll have to relinquish it moving forward. Saint up close, gets dropped out by EMP, and EMP just moving into the back. It's full flashed by his teammate, but it is going to allow him to retreat.
4v2 now, Manchester. Now it's dropped to 1. Warden alone here with this Phantom. Not best at these ranges, but against players this low, it might be able to do some work. But how much health was left on those 2 players?
Yeah, it could have been able to do something. The unfortunate circumstance of it is it's just that you're not taking any challenges onto the low players. So now, Ohio Northern just 2 away.
1 more to guarantee overtime, and look at the finances now for Ohio Northern. Even if they lose 1 or 2 rounds from this point forward, they should be able to get some full buys pretty handily along the road across. It'll have to take a while. Like, it might genuinely take until overtime if Manchester get that far to break down this economy set up by Ohio Northern.
Yeah, it would take a long time, and Paper Swan not looking to have it get broken anytime soon. Early pick onto Rain, expecting the aggression. Now Warden up close with the Phantom. I mean, he could do something here. Not quite expected, but able to get reacted on. EMP gets the find, and already so deep into the defender spawn.
3 players walking through mid to try to find if they can get this retake, and they kind of might feel like they need to here, and I would agree with them for the most part. Leg spotted. Paper Swan on this flank gets 1. The Hunter's Fury as well, telling the teammates exactly where everybody is, and 3 kills now for Paper Swan in this round. Asuna should know that this one flanking is aware, but gets shot from the back, and it sets up the kill. A flawless round for Ohio Northern. They want that grand finals.
Yeah, Asuna just stuck between two. I like the idea with the smoke, trying to maneuver around, unable to get things together. It will be ONU, like you said, just one round away from that grand finals position secured.
It's 5 in a row so far for Ohio Northern, the longest streak in this map. Not the longest in the series, but it's approaching that. If they're able to win this round, which does look like a very strong if, as Manchester can't sacrifice this round, have to go for a fractured bye.
Yeah, an EMP already running it down with the overcharge. Will be able to get through. Rain finds the response onto Paper Swan, so it is even numbers. And the Null Command will be able to take that out, but EMP with the rifle in the back pocket just finds the first damage onto Saint Flames with the pickup. At Flames, he won't be able to find the pick onto Asuna, so technically speaking, even numbers. In reality, Saint gonna drop. Now it relies on Asuna and Bane, but Bane in a position. It is going to be noted by EMP, so he is going to be able to find one on EMP Secret with the response. Asuna last two, and it's just going to be the closeout for ONU. Able to take the final map 13-7 and secure their spot in grand finals. My bad.
A good punch up. You're good. A good punch up there from Manchester. They got close there to what Ohio Northern, reminder, this is one of the best that GLEC has to offer. Ohio Northern. Manchester upset with themselves, I'm sure. I would be too. I've been in this position where you're the underdog and you take it to the team that should be better than you and you make it close. You make it so close, but you just can't push it over the line. It's a heartbreaking feeling, that one, and they really did bring it to the brink.
Yeah, I mean, after the, what do you call it? After the map number one, an unfortunate circumstance to find yourself in. And looking at the stat line, EMP stepping up 27 and 10 in an unfortunate circumstance for Manchester. Top performer Warden still going negative.
I mean, what else can you really do there? It's an unfortunate situation. Ohio Northern, the rounds that they won, they won. And the rounds that they lost, they made it scrappy. They made it a fight. They made it go close as much as possible each and every time.
Yeah, it had to be like you had to claw and fight tooth and nail in order to get those rounds across the board. And as always, could we welcome in one of the players from that winning roster, Singularity, Smokes player. First of all, congratulations, making it to Grands. Always a pleasure to be able to talk with you guys after those maps. So I do want to talk to you. What were the vibes like after that map number one, 13-10 loss? Obviously close, but Manchester just able to pull it across the line.
Yeah, earlier, like yesterday, we were struggling a lot of tilting, so we tried to come back from that. Manchester's a good team. You know, we play them a lot, so we understand what they do a bit as well. But we know we just keep our vibes up, we keep our comms up, and we know we'll try our best and put up what we can.
That's fair. That's fair. Do you think that experience in the GLEC, having to fight them in that regular season and sometimes in post, do you think that really comes into play here?
Oh yeah, of course. We're well versed with them. We're honestly good friends with them, and it's really tough every time we have to play because I love those guys. You know, I'm sure they have some feelings about us, but me personally, I love them, and it hurts like how something has to come down like this. So
yeah, fair.
And after this game, you guys are going to be heading into grand finals here. It seems as though Ohio State Scarlet has taken out Sussy players. Nobody has yet to take a match off of Ohio State Scarlet yet. This is the first time somebody took a map off of them as Sussy players did. Are you guys looking forward to that? How do you think you can fare against Ohio State?
Oh yeah. We're ready to get back in there and get our hand in on them because last map I'm not gonna say anything, but you know some stuff happened and we're ready to get back out there and show them what's up. You know.
All right, yeah. So, I mean, obviously, vibes high, you know, coming into this. Was grand finals like the expectation for you guys coming into this event? Was it something that you were trying to shoot for, or were you just like, we'll see how it happens?
We are a see how it goes type of team. We give our best attempts, you know, of course. We're all going to try our hardest, but at the end of the day, we're here to have fun. We're here to play the game. We're not here to sweat like profusely and just get upset at each other for making bad mistakes. No, we just want to get in here and have a good time.
That's fair.
I got no more questions for you. Congratulations on your win, man.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, we're just going to let you get back into the booth, man. Get set up for that grand finals. We're going to cut to a little bit of a short break while we get all the players set up, lobby all made and everything. And when we return, This guy over here and the rest of his team, Ohio Northern, they're going to be taking on OSU Scarlet, seeing if they can be the first ones to give them a loss, or if OSU, they're going to go flawless through the entire bracket. We'll see you there.
Let's go.